Chapter 767. No. The golden puppet shook its head. This is difficult. Suchin sighed. However, at this moment the golden puppet spoke again. If you urgently need a mechanical heart, I can give it to you. Suchin was slightly taken aback and said, If you give it to me, won't you die? The golden puppet explained. If I lose the mechanical heart, I will fall into a deep sleep. It doesn't mean that I will die. If you can find a new mechanical heart and install it on me, I can still be resurrected. I see, Suchin muttered. He felt that the golden puppet's words implied that it wanted to follow him. If that was the case, he would definitely agree. After all, the golden puppet's strength was there for all to see. Picking up such a powerful puppet for free, why not? However, whether the golden puppet meant this or not, he had to ask to know. Suchin coughed lightly and asked, Otetsu, since you plan to give me the mechanical heart, do you want to continue staying here? Or do you want to stay by my side? If possible, I want to stay by your side, the golden puppet said seriously. After the fall of the machine empire, it was rare to meet a member of the machine race. It was unwilling to part with the intelligent war chariot. Since the intelligent war chariot chose to stay by Suchin's side, it would follow along. Suchin was delighted, but he said calmly, Are you really willing to give me the mechanical heart? The golden puppet nodded and then explained, I don't have much energy left in the mechanical heart. Even if I don't give it to you, I can only last 3 to 5 years, and that's under the premise that I can't fight. If that's the case, I will take you in. Suchin replied and then promised, Don't worry, I will find a new mechanical heart and resurrect you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. The golden puppet nodded slightly. Without hesitation, it opened its chest and took out a blood-red gem. The moment the gem left its body, the golden puppet's eyes lost their color. Its huge body became motionless like a pile of scrap metal. Suchin took the red gem in his hand and opened his storage pouch to store the golden puppet. Then he said to the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, this is the mechanical heart, right? It is indeed the mechanical heart. However, it does not have much energy left. If you want to upgrade it to level 8, you will need 3 more level 8 energy stones, the intelligent war chariot said. Suchin did not mind. As long as he could reach level 8, it would not matter even if he used up all his level 8 energy stones. Shortly after, he installed the mechanical heart and 3 level 8 energy stones on the intelligent war chariot. An hour later, the intelligent war chariot was successfully upgraded to level 8. Suchin started to communicate with it. Satoshi, can you leave now? Yes, but it is best to find a weaker boundary point. It will be easier to travel that way, the intelligent war chariot said. Then take your time to find it. Suchin whispered and called Wu Yazi and Li Kuiyang into the car. There were still many mutated tribes in the abandoned land. This was a considerable amount of wealth. He planned to kill as many as he could before he left to accumulate some fragments. In the next few days, Suchin and the other 2 continued to kill the mutated tribes in the abandoned land. In the end, it was almost impossible to find any traces of the mutated tribes. Suchin obtained another 20,000 fragments. After organizing them and exchanging them for energy points, the total number of energy points reached a shocking 40,000. Chapter 768. During this period, the intelligent war chariot also found a relatively weak boundary point, and could leave this place at any time. Through the communication with the intelligent war chariot, Suchin learned that after leaving the abandoned land, they would enter another realm. This realm was not fixed. It could be the continent of the human clan, or the continent of other races. Suchin did not care about this at all. With his current strength, he could even compete with a first-level saint-level expert. Moreover, on the continent, even the strength of a false saint would be suppressed to level 10. Therefore, for him, no matter which continent he traveled to, he would be able to do whatever he wanted. Before leaving, Suchin planned to celebrate. Then he called everyone out and prepared the food together. After some work, there were more than a dozen kinds of roasted mutant beasts, various fruits, and drinks in front of everyone. Li Kuiyang had never seen so much sumptuous food, and he was drooling. Under Suchin's signal, Everyone began to eat heartily. After eating and drinking, Suchen called Li Kuiyang to his side. Senior, once you leave the abandoned land, will you die at any time? Suchen probed. My lifespan has long been exhausted. Once I leave, I will definitely not live for more than 3 days. Li Kuiyang replied affirmatively. Although he knew that he was about to die, he was not depressed at all. Instead, there was a trace of relief on his face. Hearing this, Suchen pondered for a while and then said, if I take some spiritual materials to increase my lifespan before I leave, can I survive? After spending some time with Li Kuiyang, he felt that Li Kuiyang was a good person. In addition, his strength had reached the level of a false saint, so he planned to keep him by his side. You can, but spiritual materials that can increase your lifespan are treasures that can only be found by chance. It's difficult to find them in the outside world, let alone in the abandoned land. Li Kuiyang sighed. Suchen's eyes lit up and he continued, Senior, if you swear to stay by my side and help me, I can provide some spiritual materials to increase your lifespan. You have them? Li Kuiyang looked at Suchen in surprise. He realized that he couldn't see through Suchen anymore. Suchen was young, but he had the strength to crush a false saint, and he had countless good things on him. Perhaps there really were spiritual materials that could increase one's lifespan. Thinking of this, Li Kuiyang's breathing quickened. If he could leave this place and survive, that would be the best choice. So what if he submitted to Suchen? Suchen's talent was extraordinary, and his strength was unparalleled. It was very likely that he would become the strongest existence in the universe. Following such an expert was not shameful at all. In fact, they could even obtain opportunities. As long as Senior agrees, I will give you the item immediately, Suchen said solemnly. I agree. Li Kuiyang did not hesitate at all. Suchen was overjoyed. He then took out the oath stone. After Li Kuiyang made the oath, he took out a longevity fruit and gave it to Li Kuiyang. Senior, this is a longevity fruit. After eating it, you can increase your lifespan by 10 years. 10 years? Li Kuiyang clicked his tongue in surprise. A fruit could increase one's lifespan by 10 years. This meant that the longevity fruit was definitely the most precious thing in the world. Li Kuiyang held the longevity fruit with trembling hands. He took a deep breath and said, It's a waste to eat it now. I'll eat it when I leave this place. As he spoke, he returned the longevity fruit to Suchen. Suchen did not take it and said with a smile, Senior, you can keep it for yourself. After Li Kuiyang made the oath, he was one of them. There was no need to guard against him. Chapter 769. Since Suchen had said so, Li Kuiyang did not decline, and carefully put away the longevity fruit. After a while, Suchen sat in the driver's seat and opened the Doomsday Mall. The first thing he looked at was the full attribute fragment column. After exchanging the level 10 full attribute fragment, the higher level fragment that appeared was the level 11 full attribute fragment. Level 11 corresponded to pseudo-saint, and the energy stones required to exchange for it were 15,000 energy points. Suchen now had a total of 40,000 energy points, and it was easy to exchange for a level 11 full attribute fragment. However, considering that advancing to pseudo-saint would still suppress one's strength to level 10 on the continent, it was meaningless. Thus, he wanted to exchange for something else first. The fastest way to increase one's strength was to increase one's strength by 10,000 energy points. At present, there were still 4 items with 10,000 energy points that had not been exchanged. They were the 5 elements Thunder Purgatory Formation, City of Faith, Illusionary Blaze Feathered Divine Dragon, and Drunken Life. Suchen planned to exchange for one of them and use the remaining energy points to buy some Constitution Potions to increase the strength of his spiritual pets. At his level, the opponents he encountered were all level 10 and above. The level of those soul pets was too low, so they were not of much use. In the long run, they would become useless. This was something that he did not want to see. Therefore, it was urgent to increase the strength of his spiritual pets. After making this decision, Suchen turned his gaze to the items with 10,000 energy points. After thinking for a while, he spent 10,000 energy points to exchange for Drunken Life. The reason why he wanted to exchange for drunken life was entirely a kind of intuition. He felt that drunken life could bring him more help. The moment the exchange was successful, the feedback was quickly transmitted to his mind. Drunken life was a magical ability that could cause the opponent to fall into a temporary illusion and be in a confused state. Not bad. The corners of Su Chen's mouth curled up slightly. Although befuddled life was an assistive divine ability, the effects it could play were no small matter. Just imagine, once the opponent fell into confusion, even if it was only for a breath, he could kill them with a powerful killing move. Shortly after, he checked the physique potion column. After some careful calculation, he finally exchanged for 3 bottles of level 8 Constitution Potion and 3 bottles of level 9 Constitution Potion. A total of 27,000 energy points were spent. Under the effects of the Vitality Potion, the Diamond Willow, the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise, and the Flaming Phoenix successfully leveled up to level 8. The Gold-Devouring Beetles had also reached level 9. As for the super ancient Devouring Adamantine Mosquito, Su Chen did not give it any Constitution Potion. This fellow could advance by consuming the blood of mutant beasts, and it was much easier for him to advance. Su Chen planned to catch a level 9 mutant beast for it to devour in the future. That way, he could save a bottle of level 9 Constitution Potion. The remaining 2 bottles of level 9 Vitality Potion were given to King Kong Willow and Flaming Phoenix. Once their cultivation stabilized, they could use this opportunity to continue advancing. As the energy points could only be exchanged for so much, the Heavenly Overlord Tortoise could only advance to level 9 a little later. As for the Bone Chill Netherworld Fire and the 8 Waste Destruction Flame, because they were strange flames, they advanced by consuming high-grade energy stones and ores. Su Chen did not have any on him, so he could only wait for the opportunity. After that, Su Chen closed the Doomsday Shopping Center and spent an upgrade gem to upgrade the Mechanical Soldier to level 8. He then installed all the remaining level 8 energy stones on it. Chapter 770. After that, Su Chen opened the planting space again and watched the growth progress of the primordial spirit-shaped fruit tree. Because there was still one primordial spirit-shaped fruit missing, he paid special attention to it. However, because it had not been long since he obtained the primordial spirit-shaped fruit tree, even with the acceleration effect of the time accelerator, it was impossible for it to bear fruit in such a short time. Su Chen took a look and closed the planting space. At this moment, Li Kuiyang came forward and asked, "Su Chen, when are we leaving here?" With a longevity fruit in hand, he couldn't wait to return to the human continent. Seeing Li Kuiyang so anxious, Su Chen simply said, "Let's leave now." When the others heard the news, they were also excited. "Satoshi, activate the shuttle function and leave here." When everyone got on the intelligent war chariot, Su Chen did not waste time and directly gave the order. Yes. The intelligent war chariot received the order, and the whole body of the chariot flashed with bright silver light, and then soared into the sky. When it reached a certain height, it suddenly became blurred and finally disappeared in midair. Su Chen and the others only felt dizzy, as if they had experienced a transmission. When this feeling dissipated, the voice of the intelligent war chariot sounded in their ears. "Master, we have successfully left the abandoned land." "Good." Su Chen sighed. His eyes fell on the central control screen and ordered the intelligent war chariot, "Satoshi, zoom in on the surrounding image." After leaving the abandoned land, they would be transmitted to other realms. He wanted to confirm which race's continent they had entered, so as to prepare for the future. The image on the central control screen changed, and soon a continuous mountain range appeared. Su Chen glanced at it and suddenly raised his eyebrows. He felt that the mountain range in front of him was somewhat familiar. Could it be the Huangzi mountain range? If it was really the Huangzi mountain range, didn't it mean that they had returned to Qinyu Island? It could be said that they had returned to the human continent. Their luck was too good, wasn't it? Su Chen's mind moved. He called Yang Hao to his side and asked, "Yang Hao, is this the Huangzi mountain range?" Yang Hao only took a glance and shouted excitedly, "Chen Ge, this is the Huangzi mountain range." After all, he had lived in the Huangzi mountain range for more than 10 years, and was very familiar with the environment here. He recognized it at a glance. When Yang Qian and Yang Lingtian heard the words Huangzi Mountain Range, they immediately became spirited and came forward to take a look. Wu Yang and the others were also very excited. The desolate Pond Mountain Range was located on the Thousand Feather Island. All of them originally lived on the Thousand Feather Island, so they still had a lot of feelings for this place. Li Kuiyang immediately ate the longevity fruit and asked Su Chen, "Su Chen, have we returned to the human continent?" Su Chen nodded. This place is called Thousand Feather Island. Although it is just an island, it does belong to the human race's mainland. This is Thousand Feather Island. Gu Tianhua and the others also became spirited. They had heard that Su Chen's hometown was Thousand Feather Island, so they had long wanted to see this island. "Su Chen, can we go down and have a look?" Yang Qian walked to Su Chen's side and whispered. "Of course," Su Chen said with a smile, and then ordered the intelligent chariot to enter the Huangzi Mountain Range. He still remembered that when he left the Huangzi Mountain Range, he left a breadfruit tree in a cave in the valley. He didn't know how it was now, so he just wanted to go and take a look. Chapter 771. In the process of descending, the intelligent war chariot suddenly warned, "Master, a human was found in the valley below." The Huangzi Mountain Range was originally a small human gathering place. It was normal for a human to appear there. "Let's go down first." Su Chen didn't care. Soon the intelligent war chariot landed in a valley. "Su Chen, this seems to be the valley where we used to live," Yang Qian said excitedly. Su Chen looked outside and said with a smile, "It's true. Let's go down and have a look." Returning to the valley where they used to live, there was a feeling of returning home. There was no reason not to go down and take a look. When the door opened, Yang Hao was the first to run out of the car. The others followed behind. After Su Chen got out of the car, he went straight to the stone cave that had been opened up. There was not only a breadfruit tree in the stone cave, but also the human who had been found before. Su Chen had just walked to the stone cave when a man's vigilant voice came from inside. "Who are you?" Su Chen felt that the voice was a little familiar, but he couldn't remember it at the moment. He raised his voice and said, "Come out, I won't hurt you." The stone cave was silent for a while, and then the man's trembling voice came again. "Chengge, is that you?" "I'm Su Chen." Su Chen raised his eyebrows. The other party could recognize his voice. Obviously, he was an acquaintance. A thin figure in ragged clothes quickly rushed out of the stone cave. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and said, "Zhou Yun, why are you here?" The man in front of him was none other than Zhou Yun from the Rocky Mound. However, when they separated, he left Zhou Yun in Han Kuen's care. Shouldn't Zhou Yun be in the Fengxi gathering place? Why did he come to the Huangzi Mountain Range? Moreover, he seemed to be in a very sorry state. "Chengge, I escaped from the Fengxi gathering place," Zhou Yun cried. "Escaped? Had the Fengxi gathering place been breached? How are Han Kuen and the others?" Su Chen's face sank as he asked anxiously, "Don't cry. What happened? Tell me everything in detail." After Wu Yang and the rest saw Zhou Yun, they all gathered over. After all, they had spent some time with Zhou Yun. They were all curious as to why Zhou Yun would appear here. Zhou Yun sobbed and said, "Chengge, half a year after you left, a large number of aliens suddenly appeared on Qinyu Island. They killed humans indiscriminately. Fengxi Colony couldn't resist them at all, and was destroyed in an instant." "What about Han Kuen and the others?" Su Chen suddenly became nervous. Although he had only met Han Kuen a few times, they got along quite well. He did not wish for Han Kuen to encounter any mishaps. In addition, Han Feng and his wife should have entered the Fengxi Colony. How was their situation? "I'm not sure. At that time, we were all separated." Zhou Yun shook his head, his face dejected. Su Chen frowned and pondered. When he left Thousand Feather Island, he had already destroyed all the interdomain passages. Then where did the strange races on Thousand Feather Island come from? Had a new realm passage been opened? Or did they come from other islands? "Zhou Yun, which race did the aliens appear here belong to?" Su Chen asked. "I don't know which race they are, but they all look like turtles and are very strong." Almost all of them are evolvers. Zoyan thought for a moment and replied. Chapter 772. The Green Tortoise Race? Suchin exclaimed in surprise. According to Zoyan's description, he could basically confirm that the aliens that appeared on Thousand Feather Island were from the Green Tortoise race. However, what he couldn't figure out was that he had massacred the Green Tortoise race a few days ago. How could they have the guts to come to Thousand Feather Island to hunt humans? Could it be that they were ordered by other races? Suchin felt that this was very likely. After all, he had killed too many aliens. It was not impossible that they came to Thousand Feather Island to take revenge. Thinking of this, Suchin hurriedly called for everyone to board the chariot. Whether this was the reason or not, he would know after interrogating some of the Green Tortoise race members. Satoshi, leave the Huangza mountain range and search for the aliens, Suchin ordered. Yes. The intelligent war chariot flew into the air again and began to search. After being upgraded to level 8, its search range had expanded to 1,500 kilometers. However, there was not a single black dot in this range. Master, there are no aliens nearby. Where should we go? The intelligent war chariot asked. Suchin thought for a moment and said, let's go to Vajra City. Vajra City was one of the largest cities in Thousand Feather Island's Huanglin district. Even if the Green Tortoise race had massacred it last time, there should still be many survivors. If the Green Tortoise race attacked Thousand Feather Island again, the humans in Vajra City would definitely not let them go. Yes. The intelligent war chariot received the order and locked onto Vajra City. Because the intelligent war chariot had been installed with a wind spirit stone, it flew as fast as lightning. In less than an hour, the image of Vajra City appeared on the central control screen. Moreover, there were thousands of black dots in Vajra City, and there was not a single blue dot. It was obvious that Vajra City had been occupied by aliens. The humans inside had been massacred. Suchin's face was gloomy as he said in a low voice, Satoshi, zoom in on the image of Vajra City and see if there are any aliens inside. The image on the central control screen changed, and the Green Tortoise race appeared. It really is the Green Turtle tribe. Suchin gritted his teeth and said, when we reach King Kong City, everyone attack together. Don't let a single Green Turtle tribesman go. Kill them all. Chingu, don't worry. These bastards are all waiting to die. Sherdaniu said indignantly. Gu Tianhua and the others had no objections. Since the Green Turtle tribe dared to slaughter humans on a human island, as a human, it was only right for him to wipe them all out. When they arrived at King Kong City, Suchin activated the recruit system and bound himself to Gu Tianhua and the others. Following this, he gave the order, kill. The moment the car door opened, everyone rushed out and charged toward King Kong City. For a moment, the entire Vajra City was filled with screams. Suchin flew to Vajra City and captured a level 3 Green Tortoise tribesman. He began interrogating him. Who sent you into Thousand Feather Island? The level 3 Green Tortoise tribesman's arms and legs were all broken by Suchin. At this time, he was wailing loudly, as if he didn't hear Suchin's question. You're courting death. Suchin released his mental power and tore off the level 3 Green Tortoise tribesman's arms. Ah! The Green Tortoise tribesman screamed and hurriedly begged for mercy. Senior, please spare my life. I'll tell you everything. If you dare to say another word of nonsense, I'll make you regret living in this world. Suchin stared at the Green Tortoise tribesman and coldly shouted. Chapter 773. The Green Tortoise race member trembled, and under Suchin's gaze he obediently confessed, Senior, it was an order from the 5 super races. Sure enough, Suchin muttered, and continued to ask, why did they do this? It seems to be because of a person called Suchin. The Green Tortoise race member thought for a moment and said, Suchin killed a lot of people from the 5 super races. The 5 super races couldn't catch him, so they massacred the humans in Suchin's hometown as revenge? Suchin's eyes were unusually cold, and a violent murderous aura lingered around his body. Thousand Feather Island is the place where he transmigrated to this world. It can be regarded as his second hometown, so he has some feelings for it. The 5 super races dared to wreak havoc here. This is a great taboo for him. At this moment, he secretly vowed that he will not let a single one of the 5 super races go. Even if he does not slaughter them all, he will make them pay a heavy price. Suchin took a deep breath, calmed his mood, and asked again. Did you enter Thousand Feather Island through the domain passage or from other islands? Senior, there is no domain passage on Thousand Feather Island. We all came from other islands. The Green Tortoise race member did not dare to conceal anything and truthfully said. Suchin narrowed his eyes, pondered for a moment, and then punched the Green Tortoise race member. The situation on Thousand Feather Island was more serious than he had expected. The 5 super races actually joined forces to deal with him. As a result, almost none of the humans on Thousand Feather Island could survive. The possibility of Han Kuan and the others surviving was very small. Suchin sighed, and a cold light suddenly shot out from his eyes, and then he joined the hunt. In just half an hour, all the Green Tortoise race members in Vajra City were slaughtered. After collecting the fragments, Suchin called everyone to get in the car and set off for the next target. After spending nearly 10 days, all the aliens on Thousand Feather Island were wiped out. Unfortunately, he still could not find any trace of Han Kuan and the others. Suchin did not intend to continue the search. There were more important things waiting for him to deal with. The change in the Crepe Myrtle Mountain was very likely a trap set up by the other forces. If that was the case, the Sun Moon Star Palace would be in danger. He had to return to the mysterious heavenly mainland as soon as possible. After making this decision, Suchin ordered the intelligent war chariot to head to the mysterious heavenly continent immediately. Along the way, when he passed by some islands, he found that these islands were basically occupied by the foreign races. If it was in the past, he would definitely not let any of these outsiders off. However, returning to the mysterious heavenly mainland was more important. As for the foreign races on these islands, he could only come back to kill them when he had the time. Half a month later, the intelligent war chariot finally arrived at the mysterious heavenly mainland. In order to save time, Suchin did not choose to enter through the teleportation formation. Instead, he put everyone in the intelligent war chariot into the chaotic space and entered the miasma alone. With his current level 10 cultivation and the ancient godfiend body, he was able to travel freely in the miasma and enter the mysterious heavenly mainland easily. Just as Suchin was about to take out the intelligent war chariot, he suddenly heard the sound of an intense fight not far ahead. The noise was so loud that it was as if the earth was shaking and the mountains were shaking. It was definitely a fight between high-level cultivators. Suchin glanced at the place where the fight was going on and slowly sneaked over. Soon he saw 3 men fighting in a small forest 100 meters away, and he just so happened to know one of them. It was the sect master of the Flowing Water sect, Yuchi Jingyang. Chapter 774. At this moment, Yuchi Jingyang was surrounded by danger under the siege of 2 level 10 cultivators. It seemed that he would not be able to hold on any longer. Suchin looked at it for a while, then rushed up like an arrow. When he was at Crepe Myrtle Mountain, he noticed that Yuchi Jingyang had a good relationship with Shang Caili and Nan Lichuan. Although he didn't know what had happened, he decided to save Yuchi Jingyang first. Suchin rushed forward and instantly released his mental power. His cultivation had reached level 10, and his mental power was like a vast ocean, crushing forward. Yuchi Jingyang and the other 2 were enveloped in it, and they felt as if they had fallen into a swamp. All of their movements became sluggish. This sudden situation gave the 3 of them a fright. When they saw that it was Suchin who was rushing over, the 3 of them had very different reactions. The faces of the 2 men who were fighting Yuchi Jingyang turned exceptionally grave. Yuchi Jingyang, on the other hand, was overjoyed. He hurriedly said, Suchin, these 2 people are from the Assassin League and the Ouyang family. Hearing this, Suchin's face was covered with a layer of frost. The Assassin League and the Ouyang family had a huge grudge against him, and it was very likely that these 2 families were behind him being sent to the abandoned land. Suchin narrowed his eyes and glanced at the 2 men, then punched out. Buzz. Buzz. After a violent tremor in the air, 100 huge golden fist shadows appeared in the air, and Suchin's fist pressed down. The golden fist shadows fell together. Bang, bang, bang. Amidst an earth-shattering collision, the two men were smashed into two piles of meat paste. Seeing this, Yuqi Jingyang's mouth was wide open, and his face was filled with shock. He couldn't speak for a long time. He clearly remembered that when they were at Crepe Myrtle Mountain, Suchin was only level 8. How did he reach level 10 in less than a month? Furthermore, his strength had reached an unimaginable level. He had easily killed 2 level 10 powerhouses. There was also another point. Wasn't Suchin sent to the abandoned land? After entering the abandoned land, it was impossible to come out. Then how did Suchin do it? All kinds of questions lingered in Yuqi Jingyang's heart. Just as he was about to ask, Suchin spoke first. Sect Master Yuqi, where are Sect Master Shang and Senior Nan? Yuqi Jingyang's expression darkened, then he sighed. They were captured. Captured? Suchin frowned. Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan were definitely top-notch level 10 fighters. Even if they were to encounter someone who was several times stronger than them, even if they couldn't win, it shouldn't be a problem for them to escape. Who could capture them? Who did it? Suchin asked anxiously. Wenxi Dynasty's saint-level ancestor Wind Crane Xiang. Yuqi Jingyang said with lingering fear. A strong saint-level cultivator actually entered the abandoned land? Suchin squinted his eyes as a murderous intent flashed across his eyes. The grudge between him and the Wind Hope dynasty had reached the point where it would not end until one of them was dead. Since the Feng family's ancestor dared to enter the abandoned land, it was definitely a good opportunity to eliminate him. Sect Master Yuqi, where are Sect Master Shang and Senior Nan? Suchin asked Suchin. They should have been brought to the Feng family. Yuqi Jingyang thought for a moment, and said with uncertainty. Suchin's mind moved slightly, then he asked, why did Feng Hexiang capture Sect Master Shang and Senior Nan? Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan had the support of a saint-level cultivator. If Feng Hexiang dared to do this, wasn't he afraid of angering the Sun Moon Star Palace's saint-level ancestor? I don't know the details. Yuqi Jingyang shook his head and looked at Suchin. He sighed. But there are rumors that the 5 major races' cultivators are pressuring the human race to kill you and the people related to you. It just so happens that there are people on our side who don't like you, so they hit it off. Chapter 775. So it's all because of me. Suchin muttered. He could imagine that whether it was the humans of Qinyu Island or Shang and Kaili, they were all implicated by him. The reason why the 5 super races were pressuring the human race was because of 2 reasons. One was because he had killed too many foreign races, and the other was because they were afraid of him. Just think about it, he was not even 20 years old, but he had the strength to crush a level 10 cultivator. Once he grew up, he would be amazing. Therefore, they wanted to completely eliminate him before he reached the sage level to prevent future troubles. Thinking of this, Suchin couldn't help but sneer. There were too many people who wanted to kill him, but so far, who could do it? It was impossible in the past, and it was even more impossible now. Since you want me to die so much, then I'll kill all of you. Suchin secretly made up his mind. After the matter here was settled, he would go to the realms of the foreign races one by one to visit them. As for those saint-level powerhouses, when he had accumulated enough fragments, he would enter the void and kill them one by one. Yuqi Jingyang suddenly felt a strong murderous intent from Suchin's body, and couldn't help but tremble. He probed. Suchin, are you okay? Suchin took a deep breath and said lightly, I'm fine. With that, he took out the intelligent war chariot, and invited Yuqi Jingyang to get on. Satoshi, search for the location of the Feng family of the Fengxi dynasty. Go immediately. Suchin ordered. Yes. The intelligent war chariot locked onto the Feng family and sped away. Suchin, you're going to the Feng family to save people? Yuqi Jingyang asked uneasily. The Feng family now had a saint-level ancestor. Even if his cultivation was suppressed, he was not comparable to an ordinary level 10 cultivator. He was a little worried that Suchin would be in danger if he went so rashly. Suchin nodded and said with a cold expression, I'm not only going to save people, but I'm also going to completely eradicate the Feng family. Hiss. Yuqi Jingyang sucked in a breath of cold air. In order to eradicate the Feng clan, he had to kill Feng Huxiang as well. Could Su Chen do it? Su Chen, Feng Huxiang might be overseeing the Feng clan. Do you really want to go? Song Yuqi Jingyang reminded. Su Chen knew what Yuqi Jingyang was thinking. He smiled and said, Sect Master Yuqi, don't worry. Feng Huxiang's cultivation is suppressed. Even if we were in the void, I would still be able to kill him. Seeing how confident Su Chen was, Yuqi Jingyang couldn't help but widen his eyes in shock. A level 10 cultivator dared to claim that he could kill a saint-level fighter? This was the most unbelievable thing he had ever heard in his life. Yuqi Jingyang swallowed his saliva and didn't linger on this topic. Instead he asked, Su Chen, how are Gong Gu and the others? At that time, when the Crepe Myrtle Mountains transmission array opened, Gong Gu and the others were taken into a space by Su Chen. After that, he hadn't seen them and was quite worried. Don't worry, Senior Brother Gong and the others are all in my chaos space. If Sect Master Yuqi wants to see them, I can let you in now, Su Chen said with a smile. There's no hurry. Yuqi Jingyang heaved a sigh of relief. He was relieved to know that Gong Gu was fine. As for meeting him, there was no hurry. Su Chen, how did you get out of the abandoned land? Yuqi Jingyang continued to ask. This was also what he was curious about. It was rumored that once one entered the abandoned land, it was absolutely impossible to come out. Su Chen didn't hide anything and briefly explained what happened in the abandoned land. Chapter 776. When he heard that there were so many experts in the abandoned land, Yuqi Jingyang's heart skipped a beat. At the same time, he was deeply shocked by Su Chen's powerful strength, killing 2 false saints and thousands of experts above level 9. Each of them was earth-shattering. No wonder he threatened to eradicate the Feng family. After learning about Su Chen's true strength, Yuqi Jingyang came to a realization. If he could even kill a false saint, then he had a great chance of killing a sage-level expert on the continent. This was because a sage-level expert could only exert level 10 strength on the continent. On the other hand, Su Chen could not only kill a false saint. With the help of 2 false saint experts, this strength was more than enough to deal with the Feng family. Thinking of this, Yuqi Jingyang's tense nerves finally eased a little. Sect Master Yuqi, why didn't Feng Huxiang kill Sect Master Shang and Senior Nan? Why did he capture them? Su Chen asked in confusion. Logically speaking, killing Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan would solve all problems and eliminate all future troubles. There wouldn't be any changes. Then why did he capture them? Yuqi Jingyang thought for a moment and replied, maybe he was afraid of the sage-level ancestors of the Sun Moon Star Palace. Su Chen nodded, and felt that this was very likely. The Sun Moon Star Palace had 2 sage-level experts. One was missing, and there was only one left. Moreover, the remaining one was about to die. Once he knew that the Sun Moon Star Palace was destroyed, he might choose to die together with them. This was also what the other sage-level experts were afraid of. After that, Su Chen and Yuqi Jingyang chatted for a while before sending him into the chaos space. He sat in the driver's seat and closed his eyes to rest. 2 days later, the intelligent war chariot appeared a few miles away from Zhangfeng City, the capital of the Wenxi dynasty. If he wanted to rescue Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan, he couldn't make too much of a commotion. Otherwise, he would alert the enemy. The other party might even use Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan as hostages to threaten him. In order to avoid this situation, Su Chen planned to rescue them quietly. As long as he sent Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan into the chaos space, he would be able to go all out. Satoshi, search for level 10 practitioners in Zhangfeng City, Su Chen instructed. Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan were both level 10 cultivators, and there weren't many level 10 cultivators in Zhangfeng City. If he checked them one by one, he would definitely find Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan. Yes. The intelligent war chariot responded and began to search. 5 minutes later, the intelligent war chariot said, Master, we found a total of 6 level 10 cultivators. Satoshi, lock onto them and enlarge the image. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He was sure that Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan were among the 6 level 10 cultivators. The image on the central control screen changed, and soon a large hall appeared. There were 4 people sitting in a circle in the hall. Lu Qianqin of the Frost Ice Palace and Lei Qingtian of the Qilin sect were among them. The remaining 2 were from the Assassins' Alliance and the Ouyang family. He had seen the 2 of them on the Crepe Myrtle Mountains arena, but he didn't know their names. Satoshi, where are the other 2 level 10 cultivators? Su Chen asked. He wasn't sure if the remaining 2 were Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan, so he was a little nervous at the moment. The intelligent war chariot replied, Master, the other 2 are in a secret room in the hall. Show them, Su Chen said anxiously. The image on the central control screen changed, and a secret room appeared. The secret room wasn't very big, and there was an iron prison cell. Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan were in the prison cell. However, their situation was very bad. Not only were they covered in injuries, but they were also tied up with star chains. Chapter 777. Knowing that Shang and Kai Li's lives were not in danger, Su Chen heaved a sigh of relief and continued to ask, Satoshi, search for the exact location of the false saint. In order to save Shang and Kai Li, in addition to dealing with Lu Qianqin and the other 3, he also had to guard against Feng Hexiang. Before taking action, he had to figure out Feng Hexiang's location to prevent any accidents. Master, we found 2 saint-level experts in a room next to the main hall, the intelligent war chariot replied. 2 saint-level experts? Su Chen frowned. One of them must be Feng Hexiang, but who was the other? Satoshi, transmit their images, Su Chen ordered. The image on the central control screen changed, and soon 2 men appeared. One of them was an old man with silver hair, and the other was emitting a dazzling golden light, and his eyes were sharp. Su Chen glanced at them, then opened the chaos space and communicated with Yuqi Jingyang and the others. Through Yuqi Jingyang's explanation, he knew that the old man was Feng Hexiang. As for the man emitting golden light, they did not know who he was. Then everyone discussed and decided on a plan. Su Chen flew to the top of Zhongfeng City, and after locking onto the main hall where Shang and Kai Li were imprisoned, he jumped down. There was a rumbling sound. Su Chen smashed the roof with 1 foot and rushed into the main hall. Who is it? Lu Qianqin and the other 3 in the main hall exclaimed in unison. Su Chen, you're still alive. When they saw that it was Su Chen, the 4 were stunned for a moment, and then launched a crazy attack on Su Chen. Su Chen's main purpose was to save Shang and Kai Li. Before he saved them, he did not want to fight with the other party. He flipped his wrist, and the moment the chaos space opened, Wu Yazi, Li Kuiyang, and Yuqi Jingyang rushed out. According to the previous plan, Wu Yazi and the other 2 would be responsible for blocking the other party, while Su Chen would rescue the other party. The moment Wu Yazi's group of 3 appeared, they clashed together with Lu Qianqin's group of 4. Su Chen did not waste any time. There were still 2 saints in the room next door. Once they heard the commotion, they would rush over. He had to seize every second. Su Chen released his spiritual force and locked onto the location of the underground secret room. He punched the ground and entered the secret room. Su Chen, Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan were pleasantly surprised. Originally, they all thought that Su Chen had been teleported into the abandoned land and would never return in this lifetime. They never thought that not only did Su Chen come out, but he also came to rescue them. This was truly unexpected. Su Chen, the saint level is coming. But at this moment, Wu Yazi suddenly shouted anxiously from the hall. To be able to make Wu Yazi so anxious, the other party's strength must be extremely powerful. Su Chen no longer hesitated. After smashing the cell, he directly put Shang Xili and Nan Lichuan into the chaos space. Then, he quickly returned to the hall. Unexpectedly, just as he entered the hall, he saw Wu Yazi and Li Kuiyang sent flying with a punch from the man with golden light all over his body. So strong. Su Chen frowned. One had to know that Wu Yazi and Li Kuiyang were also experts in the same realm. He did not expect that the 2 of them would be sent flying with a punch even when they joined forces. From this, it could be seen how powerful the opponent was. Su Chen, this guy is too strong. Wu Yazi climbed up from the ground and quickly walked to Su Chen's side, saying with lingering fear, Chapter 778. Your Suchen? The Golden Man didn't continue to attack. Instead, he narrowed his eyes at Suchen and asked in a cold voice, I'm Suchen. Who are you? Suchen rubbed his nose and said indifferently, You don't have the right to know who I am. The Golden Man snorted with contempt. I heard you have a high-grade gold-devouring bug. Hand it over and I'll leave your corpse intact. Gold-devouring bug? Suchen thought for a moment. He silently opened the pet-raising space and contacted the Flaming Phoenix. Flaming, do you know this Golden Man? The Golden Man's aura was somewhat similar to the gold-devouring bug. This made him wonder if he was the Holy Demon Tribe's holy-rank gold-devouring bug. The Flaming Phoenix said in a trembling voice, Master, he's called Jin Guangyu. He's our Holy Demon Tribe's holy-rank gold-devouring bug. How can he transform into a human? Suchen asked curiously. After reaching level 10, no matter what race you are, you can transform into a human. The Flaming Phoenix explained. I see, Suchen said in realization. He then looked at Jin Guangyu and said coldly, Jin Guangyu, I'll give you a chance. Be my spirit pet, and I'll spare your life. He's Jin Guangyu? When he heard this name, Wu Yazi's body trembled. As a former holy rank expert, Wu Yazi had heard of Jin Guangyu's name. It was rumored that Jin Guangyu was a first-stage holy rank gold-devouring bug. It was said that his defense was invincible. No one in the same stage was his match. Wu Yazi looked at Suchen in a daze. His heart was very complicated. Suchen actually wanted to tame a holy rank gold-devouring bug as a spirit pet. Wasn't he too bold? Admittedly, Suchen was very strong. But in Wu Yazi's opinion, he wasn't Jin Guangyu's match. Brother Jin, this brat is too arrogant. Are you going to do it, or should I? Feng Huxiang glanced at Suchen and said to Jin Guangyu. Jin Guangyu took a deep breath and suppressed the fury in his heart. He sneered. Suchen, I've long heard that you're unbridled and that you don't put anyone in your eyes. I originally wanted to leave your corpse intact, but it seems that's impossible now. As a saint-level existence, his status was extremely high. Suchen actually wanted to take it as a spiritual pet. This was simply a great humiliation. At this moment, he'd been completely infuriated by Suchen, and he swore to tear Suchen into pieces to vent the hatred in his heart. As soon as he finished speaking, he moved like a primeval beast, and he carried a violent and murderous aura as he charged towards Suchen. Brat, let's see how you'll survive this time. Feng Huxiang curled the corner of his mouth into a cruel smile. Suchen had continuously killed the direct descendants of the Feng family. He had long wanted to cut Suchen into pieces. Now that Jin Guangyu had made his move, Suchen would definitely die. Suchen narrowed his eyes and stood motionless in the same place. He seemed to be defenseless, but in fact he had already silently activated the arm-length golden scales and the through heaven 100 times vigorous force technique. When Jin Guangyu rushed to him, he punched out. A golden fist shadow slammed heavily on Jin Guangyu's body. There was a boom. With a loud bang, Jin Guangyu was sent flying like a cannonball, crashing into a large part of the building behind him. Hiss. Witnessing this scene, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air and looked at Suchen dumbfoundedly, their eyes filled with disbelief. Chapter 779. The saint-level gold-devouring beetle, which was known for its invincible defense, was sent flying by a single punch? Wasn't this too much? Even though they had seen it with their own eyes, they still found it unbelievable. How could this be? Feng Huxiang muttered in a daze. If even Jin Guangyu wasn't a match for Suchen, then who else could kill Suchen? Could the Feng clan still get their revenge? How could he be so strong? Lu Qianqin and the other three were completely stunned, and a deep sense of fear filled their hearts. During the Crepe Myrtle Mountain selection, they clearly remembered that Suchen was only at level 8. How could he advance to level 10 in less than a month? And how could he crush a saint-level expert? Even if a saint-level expert's cultivation was suppressed, it was still not something an ordinary level 10 cultivator could compare to. Bang! Jin Guangyu shattered the building on top of him and flew back to his original spot. Suchen's punch wasn't enough to hurt him, but it was enough to embarrass him. His face was flushed red. How can you be so strong? Jin Guangyu stared at Su Chen and suddenly roared. What does it have to do with you whether I'm strong or not? Do you think a piece of trash like you has the right to ask? Su Chen sneered. You're courting death. Jin Guangyu's face turned pale as he gritted his teeth and charged at Su Chen again. He didn't believe that he couldn't defeat a human with his invincible defense. Feng Hexiang saw Jin Guangyu attack again and shouted, Let's attack together and kill Su Chen. Su Chen's speed of growth was too shocking, and it made him wary. If he didn't take this opportunity to kill Su Chen, it would be a big problem sooner or later. Lu Qianqin and the other three were also aware of this, so they attacked Su Chen together without hesitation. Senior, you two stop Wen Crane Xiang. Su Chen said to Wu Yazi and Li Kuiyang. Then he opened the pet breeding space and summoned the steel willow, the flaming phoenix, and the gold-devouring beetles. He ordered them to deal with Lu Qianqin, and the other three with Yuqi Jingyang. The gold-devouring beetles, and the other two spirit pets had already advanced to level 9. Although they were one level lower than Lu Qianqin, and the other three, their true combat strength was far superior to those of the same level. There wouldn't be the slightest problem. Die. Taking advantage of the time when Su Chen summoned his spiritual pet, Jin Guangyu had already come close and smashed a huge fist at Su Chen. Su Chen did not dodge, and the corners of his mouth even revealed a trace of disdain. With the ancient godfiend body, he could ignore all attacks of the same level. Although Jin Guangyu was a saint, he was only at level 10 in this place. He would not be able to harm him at all. There was a muffled bang. In the next moment, Jin Guangyu's powerful punch landed heavily on Su Chen's chest, but it only made Su Chen sway slightly. On the other hand, Jin Guangyu retreated a few steps under the effect of the recoil. Witnessing this strange scene, Wind Crane Xiang and the others stopped in their tracks and looked at Su Chen as if they had seen a ghost. How strong is Su Chen's physical body? Even Jin Guangyu's violent punch was ignored? Doesn't this mean that Su Chen is an existence that can't be killed at all? Then there's no point in fighting this battle. Wind Crane Xiang and the others did not make a move, but Su Chen did not want to let them go. Senior, stop them, don't let them run away. Su Chen reminded and instantly rushed in front of Jin Guangyu. Chapter 780. Facing Su Chen, who was so strong and had such a strong defense, Jin Guangyu instinctively felt fear. He could not help but retreat. However, as he was retreating, he suddenly felt an invisible force wrap around him. He immediately lost his ability to move. Mind power. Jin Guangyu was shocked. He would not be afraid of normal mind power, even if it was at level 10. However, the mind power that Su Chen released was far beyond level 10. It was not something that he could fight against at his current level. On the other side, Su Chen controlled Jin Guangyu and used his killer move. He held the Chaos Skysplitter sword in his hand and slashed down. There was a violent tremor in the void. A black vortex about 10 feet wide appeared above Jin Guangyu's head. The black vortex slowly descended, and an extremely terrifying spatial force swept out. Spatial divine item. Jin Guangyu exclaimed in shock. His entire body shot out tens of thousands of rays of golden light. Crack, 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 accompanied by the crisp sound of bones, he revealed his true form. He turned into a gold-devouring bug that was 10 feet wide. At the same time, an overwhelming pressure spread out. Under the impact of this pressure, the entire hall let out a trembling sound. Wu Yazi and the others, who were still fighting, stopped and watched. At this moment, the black vortex landed on Jin Guangyu's huge body. Instantly, there was a grinding sound that made one's teeth ache. After a few breaths, the black vortex dissipated. There were small cracks on half of Jin Guangyu's body, and golden liquid was flowing out. He looked a little battered, but his aura was still powerful. This meant that Su Chen's sword did not cause any substantial damage to Jin Guangyu. What a strong defense. Seeing this, Su Chen clicked his tongue. Haha. Jin Guangyu laughed wildly. He stared coldly at Su Chen and said sarcastically, So what if you have a divine item? Can you break through my defense? You want to kill me? You're delusional. After blocking Su Chen's powerful blow, his confidence was greatly boosted, and the panic he felt earlier also disappeared. None of the people I want to kill can survive. As Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed, he quickly opened the pet raising space and summoned the bone-chill nether fire. At the same time, he raised his hand and swept out with his blade. Suddenly, a white torrent that exuded a terrifying chill swept towards Jin Guangyu. Under Su Chen's instructions, the bone-chill netherworld fire jumped and attached itself to the white torrent, causing the originally extremely terrifying icy intent to become even stronger. In an instant, the entire hall seemed to have fallen into a glacier, and the surrounding temperature plummeted. How can there be such a terrifying ice element technique? Feng Huxiang and the others began to tremble. Their hearts were filled with fear. He could even imagine that once he was hit by the white torrent, he would definitely be frozen and become a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Jin Guangyu was also shocked. Although he claimed that his defense was invincible, he didn't have the slightest confidence that he would be able to withstand such a terrifying ice-type spell technique. Therefore, when the white torrent swept over, he turned around and fled. Su Chen was already prepared for Jin Guangyu to escape, so he immediately released his mental power to bind him. Jin Guangyu revealed his true form, and his strength increased by many times. Su Chen's mental power could no longer bind him. However, it would still take some time for him to break free. With a slight delay, the white torrent had already hit his body and frozen him in the blink of an eye. Chapter 781. Su Chen knew that he would not be able to kill Jin Guangyu with just one ice spell. Therefore, after using the combined 5 extremes mountain to suppress Jin Guangyu, he turned to Feng Huxiang. His plan was simple. He would kill the others first and then deal with Jin Guangyu later. On the other side, when Feng Huxiang saw that Jin Guangyu was sealed in ice, he decided to retreat. However, Wu Yazi and Li Kuiyang tried to stop him, so he could not escape. However, at this moment, Su Chen approached him and punched him from afar. This punch was soundless and did not carry the slightest murderous aura. It seemed ordinary. However, no one expected Feng Huxiang to be stunned when he was locked on by the punch. It was as if he had fallen into a dream. The punch that Su Chen used was the Intent Realm magical ability, Drunken Life, that he had just redeemed. It could make the opponent fall into a temporary state of confusion. While Feng Huxiang was in a daze, Su Chen rushed forward and smashed his golden fist on Feng Huxiang's head. Feng Huxiang did not have a strong defense like Jin Guangyu. Furthermore, he was caught off guard. His entire head was smashed into pieces, and he died on the spot. Feng Huxiang was dead. The sage-level ancestor of the Feng family was killed by a punch? Seeing Feng Huxiang's headless body on the ground, Lu Qianqin and the other 3 were scared out of their wits. Their breathing was almost stopped. The 4 of them looked at each other and ran away in tacit understanding. Now that Feng Huxiang was dead and Jin Guangyu was trapped, Su Chen's next target would definitely be them. If they did not run, they would definitely lose their lives here. Let's go together. Leave no one alive. Su Chen roared and rushed towards Lu Qianqin like an arrow. Wu Yazi and the other 2, as well as the 3 spirit pets, chased after the others. Once Su Chen ran at full speed, no one on the continent could compete with him. He caught up with Lu Qianqin in a few breaths' time, and released his mental power to bind her tightly. Lu Qianqin was only at level 10, and she was very ordinary among those at level 10. How could she be a match for Su Chen? Seeing Su Chen walking toward her like a killing god, Lu Qianqin begged loudly, "Su Chen, spare my life. The entire ice palace will submit to you. How can trash like you be my follower?" Su Chen snorted and killed Lu Qianqin with a punch. Then he turned to look at Wu Yazi and the others. Wu Yazi's trio and their 3 spirit pets had already surrounded Lei Zhentian's group and were trying to kill them. Su Chen originally wanted to go forward to help, but he suddenly heard Bone Chill Netherworld Fire's urgent cry. "Master, this guy is to break free." Su Chen's expression froze as he quickly looked at Jin Guangyu. He saw that Jin Guangyu had already broken most of the ice on his body and was trying to climb out of the combined Yuan 5 Poles mountain. "You still want to escape?" Su Chen smiled contemptuously. He dashed over and stepped on Jin Guangyu's huge head. Crack! Jin Guangyu's head was heavily stomped into the ground, causing cracks to appear all around. Then he continuously released the frost spell and the wood elemental entanglement spell, binding Jin Guangyu again. How can I kill this guy? Su Chen narrowed his eyes and pondered. As a saint-level gold-devouring beetle, Golden Light Guard's body was comparable to a top-grade defensive sacred artifact. Even the most powerful chaotic skysplitter sword could not kill it. This put him in a difficult position. Chapter 782. Although it was difficult, he had to kill Jin Guangyu. Su Chen pondered for a moment, opened the pet-raising space, and communicated with the Flaming Phoenix. Flaming, Jin Guangyu's defense is too strong. Is there any way to kill him quickly? The Flaming Phoenix was also a member of the sacred demon tribe, so it should know something about Jin Guangyu. Perhaps it knew his weakness. The Flaming Phoenix thought for a moment and replied, Master, as long as you can break his defense, you can let the big mosquito suck his blood, and then let the big bug devour him. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes lit up. The super-devouring ancient gorilla mosquito had a divine ability called Devouring the Heavens and Bloodthirsty, which came in handy at this time. Once Jin Guangyu's blood essence was sucked dry, even if he didn't die, his strength would drop to the freezing point. If the gold-devouring beetles devoured him, they might even level up. Thinking of this, just as Su Chen was about to make a move, Jin Guangyu suddenly spoke. Su Chen, you can't kill me. Stop now, and I'll pretend that nothing happened. Su Chen snorted and suddenly activated the 10,000 lights 10 shadows killing technique. Suddenly, the 11 Su Chens joined forces to attack. For a moment, spells intertwined, and divine artifacts fell from the sky. Like a stormy sea, a terrifying wave was set off. What kind of divine ability is this? Jin Guangyu cried out in shock. At this moment, he clearly felt the aura of death, and his whole body trembled. Boom! Accompanied by an earth-shattering bang. The attacks of the 11 Su Chen all landed on Jin Guangyu's back. No matter how strong Jin Guangyu's physical defense was, he couldn't withstand it. A huge crack suddenly appeared on his back, and golden liquid gurgled out of the crack. Su Chen seized the opportunity and let go of the super-devouring ancient gorilla mosquito. He ordered Little Gold suck his blood dry. Yes, master. The super-devouring ancient gorilla mosquito was very excited and directly used its divine ability, devouring the heavens and bloodthirsty. The golden blood in Jin Guangyu's body gushed into the super-ancient devouring Vajra mosquito's mouth like a whale sucking in water. Although the super-ancient devouring adamantine mosquito was only the size of a fist, its stomach was like a bottomless pit. No matter how much it sucked, it could not be filled. Moreover, the speed of absorption was very fast. In just a few breaths, Jin Guangyu's huge body appeared to be in a shriveled state, as if it had shrunk. Ah! As the blood essence in his body continued to decrease, Jin Guangyu howled in pain and loudly begged Su Chen for mercy. Su Chen, spare my life. I'm willing to be your spiritual pet. In the face of death, even saint-level existences would lower their proud heads. Su Chen said sarcastically, I gave you a chance before, but you didn't seize it. Now you want to be my spiritual pet? Too late. If Jin Guangyu had agreed to be his spiritual pet at the beginning, he would have agreed. After all, having a saint-stage gold-devouring beetle as a spiritual pet would definitely greatly improve his strength. However, after fighting with Golden Light Yu, he was already furious and had the intention to kill. Once the killing intent was ignited, it would be extremely difficult to restrain it. Therefore, Jin Guangyu must die. Su Chen, you will die a horrible death. Our sacred demon tribe will not let you go. Knowing that Su Chen did not intend to let him go, Jin Guangyu cursed loudly. Su Chen was unmoved and looked on coldly. When Jin Guangyu's body shrank to only 1/3 of its original size, Su Chen ordered the super-ancient devouring Vajra mosquito to stop sucking blood. If it continued to suck, Jin Guangyu would definitely die, and the super-ancient devouring Vajra mosquito would not be able to advance. It was better to let the gold-devouring beetles devour him. Chapter 783. The super-devouring ancient adamantine mosquito burped, looking as if it still wanted more. However, since Su Chen had given the order, it had no choice but to obey. Su-chun, give me another chance. I have many secrets that I can tell you. Jin Guangyu panted heavily, begging Su-chun for mercy again. After having a large amount of blood essence devoured, its aura was very chaotic, and its cultivation was not as good as before. At most, it was only level 8. Su-chun glanced at it coldly, and the corner of his mouth twitched. I don't care. With that, he slashed down with the primal chaos skysplitter sword. There was a loud boom. Jin Guangyu, whose cultivation was greatly reduced, had a much weaker defense. His entire head was instantly split into pieces, and he died on the spot. Instantly, tens of thousands of colorful shards appeared on his corpse. Seeing this, Su-chun's mouth couldn't help but curl up. Then he activated the automatic pickup function and collected all the fragments. At this time, Wu Yazi and the 3 spiritual pets came to Su-chun's side. Jin Ganglu reported to Su-chun, Master, those 3 people have been killed. Su-chun nodded slightly, then said to the gold-devouring bug, Little bug, I'll leave Jin Guangyu's body to you. Thank you, Master. The gold-devouring bug was pleasantly surprised. Jin Guangyu was a saint-level gold-devouring bug. As long as it devoured him, it had a high chance of reaching level 10. After a while, Su-chun stored Jin Guangyu's body and the spiritual pets in the pet breeding space. Su-chun, are Sect Master Shang and the others okay? Yuchi Jingyang asked. Don't worry, they're all in the primal chaos space. Su-chun laughed, then opened the primal chaos space and called Shang Tsili and Wu Yazi out. Su-chun, where's Feng Hexiang? Shang Tsili asked worriedly as soon as she appeared. I've already killed him, Su-chun said lightly. Kill him? Feng Hexiang was a saint-level existence. Even if his cultivation was suppressed, he was still much stronger than the average level 10 cultivator. How could Su-chun kill him? Shang Tsili and Nan Lichuan were a little confused as they looked at Su-chun in a daze. Yuchi Jingyang reminded, it's not just Feng Hexiang. Even the sacred demon tribe's gold-devouring beetles died at the hands of Su-chun. What? Shang Tsili and Nan Lichuan opened their mouths wide. Their faces filled with inexplicable horror. It was rumored that the sacred demon race's sacred rank gold-devouring beetles had terrifying defensive capabilities. They were practically invincible within the same rank. Such a terrifying expert had actually died in the hands of Su-chun. From this, one could see how powerful Su-chun was now. Su-chun, I heard that you've reached level 10? Nan Lichuan came back to his senses and asked. When they were in the chaos space, they heard from Chun Feng and the others that Su-chun had reached level 10. At first, they didn't believe it. Because when Su-chun was at Crepe Myrtle Mountain, he was only level 8. How could he level up twice in less than a month? But when they heard that Su-chun could even kill a sacred rank gold-devouring beetle, they felt that the possibility was very high. I just leveled up a few days ago. Su-chun nodded. Hearing this, Shang Tsili and Nan Lichuan looked at each other. They could see the excitement in each other's eyes. Su-chun's speed of leveling up was so terrifying. This meant that he wouldn't be too far away from reaching the sacred rank. Once Su-chun reached the sacred rank, the Sun Moon Star Palace would definitely rise again. Sect Master, how is the Sun Moon Star Palace now? Su-chun asked. He was a little worried. Shang Tsili and Nan Lichuan had been captured. Would the Sun Moon Star Palace be eradicated? Chapter 784. Shang Tsili sighed faintly. Our Sun Moon Star Palace and Flowing Water Sect no longer exist. After the incident at Crepe Myrtle Mountain, the other major forces had joined forces to besiege the Sun Moon Star Palace and Flowing Water Sect. Almost all the disciples were killed, and the 2 of them were captured by Feng Hexiang. Fortunately, Gu Tianhua and the other genius disciples of the younger generation were by Su-chun's side. As long as they were around, the Sun Moon Star Palace could regroup. Su-chun's face was gloomy. He could imagine that the Flowing Water Sect and Sun Moon Star Palace were most likely implicated by him. After taking a deep breath, he asked, Sect leader, other than Feng Hexiang and the few major forces from Forgotten Autumn Mountain, was there anyone else who destroyed the Sun Moon Star Palace? Once it was confirmed that someone else was involved, no matter which force it was, he would uproot them. The Sacred Empire, Barbarian Shrine, and even the sanctuary sent people over, Shang Xili said through gritted teeth. A sharp look suddenly appeared in Su Chen's eyes. The four major forces of the mysterious heavenly continent, including the sanctuary, were involved. It was obvious that they wanted to kill him. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish. Su Chen clenched his fists, exuding a strong murderous aura all over his body. Shang Xili knew that Su Chen had the intention to kill, so she hurriedly advised, Su Chen, take your time to plan your revenge. Don't be rash. Su Chen did not care. With his current strength, he was invincible in the mysterious heavenly continent. If God or Buddha stood in his way, he would kill Buddha. He would kill anyone who disobeyed him. It was impossible for him to take his time and take his revenge. From today onwards, he would stir up a storm of blood in the mysterious heavenly continent. Those who wanted to kill him, he would not let any of them go. No one could stop him. Not even a sage. Su Chen made up his mind. Suddenly, he remembered something very important and asked, Sect leader, how did the sacred demon tribe enter the mysterious heavenly continent? Although the mutated tribes could enter the mysterious heavenly continent, there was a level restriction. The highest level they could enter was level 8. Jin Guangyu was already a saint, so how did he enter? It's very likely that they entered through the sacred gate, Shang Xili said with a solemn expression. The sacred gate? Su Chen muttered and looked at Shang Xili, waiting for her explanation. The Saint Realm is the place where the Saint Realm experts live. The Saint Realm door is a door that connects the Saint Realm and the mysterious heavenly continent. If the Saint Realm experts want to enter the mysterious heavenly continent, they must go through this door, Shang Xili explained. Su Chen was puzzled and asked, then how did Jin Guangyu pass through the gate? Since the sacred region was the territory of human sages, how could they allow outsiders to enter as they pleased? That's what I'm worried about. Shang Xili sighed and said, no matter if it's a saint level, 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 saint level. Saint level, 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 saint level. Furthermore, only those with more than 80% of the votes can enter the mysterious heavenly mainland. Hearing this, the expressions of Wu Yazi and the others became extremely unsightly. Su Chen's expression turned serious as well. Since Feng Huxiang and Jin Guangyu could appear here, it meant that they had more than 80% of the Saint Realm's support. In other words, more than 80% of the human sages wanted him dead. What was more hateful was that these sages had joined forces with the mutated tribes to deal with him. Su Chen narrowed his eyes as a cold light flashed in his eyes. Then he took out the intelligent war chariot and asked everyone to get in. Chapter 785. Satoshi, head to the Holy Empire. Su Chen ordered as soon as he got into the car. The intelligent war chariot locked onto the Holy Empire, activated its flight function, and flew away from Zhongfeng City. Su Chen, why are we going to the Holy Empire? Shang Xili asked worriedly. In her opinion, they were now in the teeth of the storm. Since the sages of the human race had made up their minds to kill Su Chen, they would definitely continue to send experts to find them. If they were to head to the Holy Empire with such fanfare, it would be easy to expose their whereabouts and attract the experts to surround them. Su Chen did not hide anything and said bluntly, I won't let any of those forces who participated in the destruction of the Sun Moon Star Palace go. I'll start with the Holy Empire. In fact, other than revenge, he had another purpose, which was to find the whereabouts of the Tree of Life. The Holy Empire's monarch, Li Sheng, had once obtained a large branch from the Tree of Life. If he followed the vine to the melon, there was a high chance that he would find the Tree of Life. Shang Xili and the others' faces changed when they heard this. Su Chen was determined to take revenge. There would definitely be endless battles later. The experts sent by the other party were definitely above level 10. There might even be sages among them. It could even be said that Su Chen was going to fight against the entire human race on his own. When that time came, would Su Chen still be a match for him? Wu Yazi thought for a moment and said slowly, "Don't worry, everyone. With Su Chen's current strength, there won't be any opponents on the continent. Even if there are too many experts, we can just leave the mysterious heavenly mainland. They can't do anything to us." He had witnessed Su Chen's strength with his own eyes. He had faced thousands of experts in the abandoned land and was unstoppable. He was still in existence that could do whatever he wanted on the continent. Even the sage-level gold-devouring beetle, which was known to have an invincible physical body, had fallen in the hands of Su Chen. There were not many experts who could pose a threat to Su Chen. Even if there were, it would not matter. The intelligent war chariot had activated the function of traversing between realms and could enter other realms at any time. It could advance and retreat at will. Therefore, he was fully supportive of Su Chen's plan to stir up trouble in the mysterious heavenly mainland. He was not worried. Hearing this, Shang Tsili and the others breathed a sigh of relief. They already knew Wu Yazi's identity. Not only was Wu Yazi a famous master artificer, but he was also once a saint stage existence. Since such an expert had confidence in Su Chen, they didn't have much to worry about. Behind them, the intelligent war chariot flew straight towards the Holy Empire. Since they were flying, they weren't obstructed at all. About 10 days later, the intelligent war chariot flew above Kuxing City, the capital of the Holy Empire. At this point, Su Chen was not in a hurry to make a move. Instead, he communicated with the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, search for the experts of Kuxing City. A long time ago, he had heard from an elder of the Manyu Shrine that the strongest person in the Manyu Shrine was Li Sheng, a level 9 Dharma psychic. In his eyes, a level 9 magic psychic was like an ant that he could destroy with a single hand. However, the current situation was different from before. The human saint level wanted to kill him, and Kuxingqing might have a large number of powerful warriors hidden in the city. It was better to be careful. Master, the strongest person is only a level 9 Dharma psychic. There are also some level 8 cultivators. The intelligent war chariot searched for a while and quickly replied, "Looks like the other party is unprepared." Su Chen muttered. Then he ordered the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, lock onto the level 9 Dharma psychic's location and go find him. Chapter 786. Yes. The intelligent war chariot received the order and slowly landed in a magnificent building. There were a large number of armored guards gathered around the building. When they noticed an aircraft landing, they all gathered around with their weapons and surrounded the intelligent war chariot. "I'll go down and take a look." Su Chen opened the door and got out alone. "Who are you? How dare you trespass on an important place? Do you know where this is?" A rough-looking guard looked at Su Chen vigilantly and questioned him. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and glanced around. Without saying anything, he released his spiritual energy and bound the guard in front of him. Advanced Spirit Reader. When the other guards saw this, their expressions changed. The rough-looking guard was their captain, and also a level 7 evolver. However, in front of this young man, he had no resistance. It was obvious that this young man must be a spirit reader above level 8. "Tell Li Sheng to get out here." Su Chen narrowed his eyes and roared. A huge pressure was released, causing the group of guards to continuously retreat. "How dare you? Where did this arrogant person come from? How dare you behave so atrociously here?" All of a sudden, an angry roar came from afar. Then a thin and weak old man rushed over in an aggressive manner. "Let him go." When he saw Su Chen choking the guard captain's neck, his face turned cold and he shouted coldly, "As you wish." Su Chen curled his lips and broke the guard captain's neck. Then he threw him at the feet of the thin old man. "You've gone too far." The thin old man stomped his feet and flew toward Su Chen. He raised his hand and punched, vowing to kill Su Chen with one punch. A level 8 evolver is like an ant. Su Chen smiled contemptuously. Judging from the other party's aura, he was only a level 8 cultivator. Daring to kill him with this level of cultivation was like hitting a stone with an egg. Just as the thin old man rushed in front of him, Su-Chen controlled his spiritual energy and swept it forward. There was a loud bang. Under the pressure of the invisible force, the skinny old man was directly turned into a cloud of blood mist. Not even his bones were left behind. Hiss! Seeing this scene, the sound of cold air being sucked in could be heard from all around. All the guards looked at Su-Chen in shock, and couldn't help but step back again. The skinny old man was a true level 8 cultivator, but he was easily killed without even being able to cause a ripple. It could be seen how terrifying Su-Chen was. Who are you? Why did you kill indiscriminately in my residence? However, at this moment, more than 10 men walked out of a building opposite them. The person in the lead had a dignified appearance, with the dignified aura of a superior. As soon as this person appeared, he berated Su-Chen. Su-Chen rubbed his nose and said coolly, "You're Li Sheng, right? How dare you?" When the others heard that Su-Chen dared to call out the dignified man's name, they were instantly enraged and attacked Su-Chen together. Their cultivation was not weak, and they were all level 8 cultivators and above. Moreover, they cooperated with each other quite well. A few magic psychics worked together to cast spells, while the rest of the evolvers charged straight at Su-Chen. Looking at their posture, they wanted to take down Su-Chen in the shortest time possible. Li Sheng did not make a move, but a cruel smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. In his opinion, with so many experts working together, Su-Chen would not be able to survive even if he had heaven-defying means. However, the scene that appeared in the next moment completely stunned him. He saw that the spells flying at Su-Chen were strangely bounced off when they came into contact with Su-Chen. Not only did they not hurt Su-Chen, but they also killed many of the guards around him. Chapter 787. How could this be? Li Sheng murmured. He could not recover from the shock for a long time. The few Dharma psychics who were casting spells at the side were also dumbfounded. The fact that Su-Chen could ignore the spell attacks was too incredible, and it made them feel a deep sense of fear. The evolver who was rushing towards Su-Chen also stopped at this moment. He looked at Su-Chen in surprise, and for a moment, he was caught in a dilemma. A bunch of trash. Su-Chen snorted coldly. He raised his hand and shot out a wind blade. Crack. With a crisp shattering sound, these evolvers were all cut into a pile of minced meat. Their deaths were very tragic. A level 10 Dharma psychic. Li Sheng exclaimed. He almost wet his pants in fright. As a level 9 Dharma psychic, the moment Su-Chen shot out the wind blade, he felt a terrifying wind energy fluctuation. It was definitely far beyond level 9. Thus, he confirmed Su-Chen's identity as a level 10 Dharma psychic. The other Dharma psychics were also uneasy. Facing a powerful existence like Su-Chen who could ignore spell attacks, they were all at a loss. They did not know what to do. "Senior, I am Li Sheng. May I know how I have offended you?" Li Sheng recovered from his fright. He thought about it and asked Su-Chen respectfully, "The crimes you have committed are punishable by death." Su-Chen's voice was as cold as ice. He snorted coldly and released his spiritual power to kill all the Dharma psychics around Li Sheng. "You?" Li Sheng was shocked and furious as he watched his subordinates die in front of him. However, he did not have the courage to question Su-Chen. Su-Chen controlled his spiritual power to bind Li Sheng. He pulled him closer and pressed him under his feet. He said coldly, "The Sacred Empire was also involved in the destruction of the Sun Moon Star Palace, right?" "Destruction of the Sun Moon Star Palace?" Li Sheng muttered. He suddenly thought of something and looked at Su-Chen in horror. He said in a trembling voice, "You are? I am Su-Chen." Su-Chen's lips curled into a cold smile. Gulp. Li Sheng swallowed a mouthful of saliva as his body trembled uncontrollably. Su-Chen's name resounded like thunder in his ears. Of course he had heard of him. Rumor had it that Su-Chen was unscrupulous in his actions. He would kill without saying a word. He was simply a heinous demon. In total, more than 1,000 experts had died at his hands. Not only were there top powerhouses from the mysterious heavenly continent, but there were also many genius disciples from the 5 superclans who had died in Su-Chen's hands. Wherever Su-Chen went, he would set off a reign of terror. Anyone who offended him would not be able to survive. After learning of Su Chen's true identity, Li Sheng's heart skipped a beat. Even his breathing became abnormally heavy. Senior, we were forced to participate in the destruction of the Sun Moon Star Palace. It was the request of those sage-level powerhouses. Moreover, the strength of our sacred empire is limited. Even if we participated, we would only be going through the motions. In fact, we would only be there for show. Li Sheng saw the unfriendly look in Su Chen's eyes. He was afraid that he would be killed on the spot, so he quickly explained. Su Chen snorted softly and asked, I heard that you obtained a branch with vitality a few years ago. Where did you get it? A branch with vitality? Li Sheng tried hard to recall and said, Senior, if I tell you the truth, can you spare my life? Crack. As soon as Li Sheng's voice fell, Su Chen broke his arm with a stomp. Su Chen hated it the most when others bargained with him, especially when they were not qualified to do so. Since Li Sheng did not know what was good for him, he could only teach him a lesson. Chapter 788. Ah! Li Sheng screamed. Our holy empire has 2 saint-level ancestors in the holy realm. If you kill me, they won't let you go. At this point, Li Sheng still wanted to threaten Su Chen with a saint level. This was a taboo for Su Chen. I even dared to kill Wen Crane Xiang, and the saint-level gold-devouring beetle. Your holy empire's saint level is nothing. Su Chen snorted. He lifted his foot and stomped Li Sheng's other arm into meat paste. The intense pain almost made Li Sheng faint. When he regained his strength, his heart was beating violently. Su Chen could even kill a saint level? And a saint-level gold-devouring beetle? The fear in Li Sheng's heart reached its peak. He hurriedly said, Senior, give me a chance. Su Chen's face was cold as he scolded. Tell me where you got the tree of life. Otherwise, I'll make you beg for death. Li Sheng trembled. After struggling for a while, he gritted his teeth and said, I got it in a secret realm on Green Cloud Island. Green Cloud Island? A secret realm? Su Chen pondered and continued to ask, where exactly is it on Green Cloud Island? He had seen Green Cloud Island on the mysterious heavenly continent topographic map. It was a huge island, at least 20 times the size of Qinyu Island. If he couldn't determine the exact location, it would take a lot of time to find that secret realm. Li Sheng didn't dare to hesitate and said truthfully, It's in the Yunluo Mountains of Green Cloud Island. Su Chen nodded slightly and asked, Does the Holy Empire have any level 9 energy stones? The intelligent chariot and mechanical soldier had both been upgraded to level 8. The next step was to advance to level 9. Finding level 9 energy stones was the key. No. Li Sheng shook his head and said bluntly, Since you don't have any, you can die. Su Chen didn't show any mercy. He punched Li Sheng and blasted him to death. Then he returned to the intelligent chariot. Sect Master, have you heard of Green Cloud Island? Back in the car, Su Chen immediately asked Shang Xili. Since he knew that the Tree of Life came from Green Cloud Island, he had to make a trip there. However, he knew very little about Clear Cloud Island, and wanted to understand the situation of Clear Cloud Island through Shang Li and the others. Hearing the name Green Cloud Island, Shang Xili's expression became serious and she said, Green Cloud Island is the number 1 island in the Grand Mysterious Heaven Outer Zone. This number 1 doesn't refer to its size but its strength. Although Qingyun Island is only an island, its overall strength is very strong. It has more than a dozen powerful sects and experts. Almost every sect has a saint-level ancestor. So strong. Su Chen couldn't help but click his tongue. Not to mention other things, just the dozen or so saint-level ancestors on Clear Cloud Island were enough to attract his attention. Su Chen, are you going to Green Cloud Island? Nan Lichuan asked worriedly. With Su Chen's style of doing things, once he entered Clear Cloud Island, he might set off a bloody storm. Nan Lichuan was very worried. I'll definitely go to Clear Cloud Island, but not now. Su Chen nodded. He had to eliminate the forces that participated in the destruction of the Sun Moon Star Palace before he could go to Clear Cloud Island. His next target was the Holy Temple of the Wild. Shang Li and the others looked at each other and sighed. Since Su Chen had made up his mind, no one could persuade him otherwise. They only hoped that the people of Clear Cloud Island would open their eyes and not provoke Su Chun. Otherwise, it was very likely that their sex would be destroyed. Chapter 789. Satoshi, head to the Temple of the Wild. Su Chun instructed and then asked Shang Tsili, Sect Master, what forces are in the Temple of the Wild? In addition to the Temple of the Wild, there are several large families, Shang Tsili said bluntly. Did these forces participate in the destruction of the Sun, Moon, and Star Palace? Su Chun asked. He was not a bloodthirsty person, and he would not casually slaughter those who did not participate in it. Only the Temple of the Wild and the Ling family participated, Shang Tsili said truthfully. The Ling family? Su Chun muttered and a cold light shot out of his eyes. He had heard from Shang Tsili that the Ling family was also a large family in the Temple of the Wild, and had a sage-level ancestor. Lu Yan's daughter, Lu Kaifeng, had married into the Lu family, and Lu Yan had died in his hands. Su Chun could imagine that the Ling family must have participated in this for revenge. After a while, Su Chun sat back in the driver's seat and opened the planting space to check the growth progress of various spiritual plants. Shang Tsili and the others also found a place to rest. Behind them, the intelligent war chariot sped straight to the Temple of the Wild. It was very smooth and did not encounter any obstacles along the way. This made Su Chun feel very strange. Since the human clan sage-level experts were determined to kill him, shouldn't they send a large number of experts to kill him? Why did they let him be so carefree? Could it be that they were so scared that they did not dare to send anyone after knowing that Feng Huxiang and Jin Guangyu had been killed? Su Chun felt that this was possible, but the possibility was not too high. After all, he had not offended ordinary people, but the human clan sage-level experts. If those sage-level experts gave up just like that, where would their dignity be? Could it be that they were plotting something? Giving a fatal blow at the critical moment? The sage-level experts had lived for countless years, and were all shrewd and astute. Su Chun felt that this was more likely. However, he did not take it to heart. He would deal with whatever came his way. As long as he was on the mainland, there was nothing to be afraid of no matter how many people came. 10 days later, the intelligent war chariot entered the barbarian holy temple area. According to the original plan, the first target to be eliminated was the various temples. However, what was surprising was that when the intelligent war chariot arrived at the All Gods Temple, it was already empty. There were only a few low-level cultivators left. Su Chun interrogated them, and found out that the experts of the various temples had all left this place a few days ago. There was no trace of them at all. It was as if they knew that Su Chun was coming to kill them, so they hid in advance. Su Chun missed and was very depressed in his heart. Other than not being able to kill the experts of the various temples, they didn't find a single wind spiritual stone. In order to vent his anger, he destroyed more than half of the Temple of All Gods before he left. After leaving the Temple of All Gods, the intelligent war chariot rushed to the Ling family. However, just like the various temples, the Ling family's experts had long since fled. Su Chun, where are we going next? Shang Tsili asked. Su Chun thought for a moment and said, let's go to Qingyun Island. The four major forces of the mysterious heavenly mainland, the Wenshi dynasty and the Holy Empire, had been completely destroyed by him. The few major forces of the Forgotten Autumn Mountain basically existed in name only. Other than the barbarian Holy Temple, the other two major forces had fled. They had basically achieved their goal of revenge. There was no point in continuing to stay in the mysterious heavenly mainland. Hearing this, Shang Tsili did not say anything else. Going to Qingyun Island was Su Chun's decision. He had to go there sooner or later. Chapter 790. The intelligent war chariot locked onto Qingyun Island and sped towards it. Along the way, Su Chun opened the pet raising space. Did the gold-devouring beetle advance to level 10 after devouring Jin Guangyu's corpse? That was what he was concerned about. The moment he opened the pet raising space, he felt a violent aura. This aura came from the gold-devouring beetles. Little beetle, you've advanced? Su Chun was excited. The gold-devouring beetle was already very strong. Once it advanced to level 10, it would definitely be a great help to him. Its strength was even stronger than Wu Yazi, who had his cultivation suppressed. "Master, I've advanced!" The gold-devouring beetle shouted excitedly. After advancing to level 10, it actually grew wings and was flying up and down in the space. The flaming phoenix and the other spiritual pets stayed far away from it. They had no choice. The gold-devouring beetle's body was too strong. Once it touched it, it would not be a joke. It might even break their bones. "Okay." Su Chen nodded, and the corner of his mouth could not help but curl up. After that, he chatted with the spiritual pets for a while and closed the pet-raising space. The intelligent war chariot left the mysterious heavenly mainland and entered a boundless sea. Su Chen had nothing to do, so his gaze fell on the central control screen. Due to the distance from Qingyan Island, it would take more than 10 days. If he encountered a large group of sea monsters during this period, he could kill them and get some fragments. Soon, Su Chen saw a huge black dot on the central control screen. There were more than 10 smaller black and blue dots gathered around the black dot. Mutated tribes and humans? Su Chen raised his eyebrows and ordered the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, lock onto them and zoom in on the image. Yes. The intelligent war chariot locked onto them and quickly displayed the image on the central control screen. Su Chen took a closer look and saw a demonic beast as black as ink lying in the middle of the sea. This demonic beast was like a mollusk, giving people a feeling of softness all over. Moreover, its body was especially huge, almost the same size as some of the smaller islands. On the back of this demonic beast stood a dozen or so humans and non-humans. These foreign races were not of the same race. Su Chen had seen them before. The night demon race, the flying feather race, the oceanic race, and the god race were all present. What are these guys trying to do? Su Chen frowned and muttered. However, at this moment, the intelligent war chariot reminded Zhuyan, the other party seems to have discovered us and is flying towards us. Su Chen exclaimed softly and looked at the central control screen again. Sure enough, the huge demonic beast set off stormy waves. Its swimming speed was very fast, and it was heading towards them. Could it be that they were really coming for him? Su Chen was a little uncertain. After thinking for a while, he asked Shang Xili, "Lord, do you know these humans?" Shang Xili walked forward and glanced at the central control screen. Her expression suddenly froze, and she said in a deep voice, "Some of them are from the All Gods Temple and the Ling family. I don't know the rest." All Gods Temple and the Ling family? A cold smile appeared on Su Chen's lips. He was worried that he couldn't find the people from the All Gods Temple and the Ling family. He didn't expect them to take the initiative to come to him. It was a good opportunity to catch them all in one fell swoop. "Satoshi, check their cultivation," Su Chen ordered. Since the other party took the initiative to find him, they must be prepared. To be cautious, it was better to understand the other party's strength. It was better to be prepared. Chapter 791. Master, that demonic beast is a saint-level demonic beast. The rest of the humans and mutated races are all level 10 cultivators. The intelligent war chariot quickly replied. So many powerful cultivators? And a saint-level demonic beast? After hearing this news, Shang Xili and the others were all shocked. Even Su Chen's expression turned serious. More than 20 level 10 cultivators, and a saint-level demonic beast. This lineup was enough to wipe out an entire continent. If it was someone else, they would have run away. But Su Chen wouldn't. Ever since he started cultivating, no one could scare him away. The stronger the opponent was, the more it could ignite his fighting spirit. "Su Chen, what should we do?" Nam Lichuan asked anxiously. The others all looked at Su Chen. Su Chen smirked and said calmly, "Kill as many as they come." Although the opponent had many people, the only one that could threaten him was that saint-level demonic beast. As long as he could kill that saint-level demonic beast, the other level 10 cultivators would be like ants. Hearing this, Shang Xili, Nan Lichuan, and Yuqi Jingyang all gasped. On the other hand, Wu Yazi and Li Kuiyang were much calmer. When they were in the abandoned land, They had faced dozens of times more powerful cultivators, but they still managed to kill almost all of them. That was why they didn't take it to heart. On the other hand, they were full of confidence in Su Chen. Su Chen, can you arrange how to deal with them? Li Kuiyang asked. After all, the opponent had many people. If he didn't arrange things in advance, there might be trouble. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and said in a low voice, "Don't be in a hurry to show yourself. Wait for me to kill that saint-level demonic beast, then we can kill those level 10 cultivators together." Without knowing the strength of the saint-level demonic beast, if Shang Xili and the others were to show themselves, they might be killed instantly. This was the best and safest way. Isn't it too risky for you to go alone? Shang Xili frowned, not agreeing with Su Chen's arrangement. Su Chen smiled and said, "Don't worry. In the continent, the highest cultivation level is level 10, and a level 10 cultivator can't break through my defense." He had the ancient godfiend body and was invincible among his peers. There was indeed nothing to worry about. Let's listen to Su Chen. Wu Yazi expressed his opinion. Thinking of Su Chen's terrifying strength and incomparably tough body, he didn't think that Su Chen would have any problems. Since that's the case, then we'll listen to your arrangements. However, if you encounter any danger, you must contact us immediately. Shang Xili heavily exhorted. Su Chen was now the hope for the Sun Moon Star Palace to rise again. She did not want anything to happen to Su Chen. Su Chen nodded and then put Shang Xili and the others into the chaos space along with the intelligent war chariot. He stood on the surface of the sea and quietly waited for the other party's arrival. A few minutes later, with a monstrous murderous aura, the saint-level sea demon beast flew to a place 100 meters away from Su Chen and stopped. At this time, the humans and aliens standing on the body of the saint-level sea demon beast were sizing up Su Chen. Su Chen glanced at them and sneered. "Are you here to die? Arrogant." A human old man shouted and then laughed contemptuously. "Su Chen, don't boast shamelessly. Today, even if you have the ability to reach the heavens, you can forget about escaping from our hands. Su Chen, you've killed countless of my clansmen. If you kill yourself here, I might consider leaving your corpse intact. Otherwise, I'll make sure you don't even have a corpse left." A night demon clansman shouted. Chapter 792. Su Chen rubbed his nose and said sarcastically, "You two trash can only talk. I'm standing right here. Come and kill me if you can." The human elder and the night demons looked at each other, but none of them dared to make a move. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. Su Chen could even kill a sage-level existence. If they really went to fight with Su Chen, they might be killed instantly. Don't waste time with him. Let's do it. At this time, a member of the Sea Clan walked forward and pointed his hand forward. The seawater in front of him suddenly began to churn. The next moment, a giant hand formed from the turbulent seawater and pressed down on Su Chen's head. Child's play. Su Chen sneered and threw out a Pegasus meteor punch. Hundreds of golden fist shadows smashed down at the same time, and instantly smashed the giant seawater hand into pieces. When a large amount of seawater fell from the sky, a purple light flashed under Su Chen's feet. He turned into a streak of light and charged toward the sage-level demon expert. "Stop him." Seeing Su Chen descending like a god of death, the human elder was scared out of his wits and shouted loudly. Su Chen was ferocious and powerful. His strength was unparalleled. The others knew this and did not dare to let Su Chen get close to them. Immediately, a few spiritual psyche masters released various spells and bombarded Su Chen. The spiritual psyche masters, led by the man from the God Clan, also released their spiritual power to crush Su Chen. In the face of such ferocious attacks, Su Chen turned a blind eye. He did not dodge and took it head-on. Is he crazy? Witnessing this scene, the group of experts opened their mouths wide in shock, unable to be any more shocked. Some even sneered, thinking that Su Chen would be seriously injured even if he did not die. "Do you think you're invincible? Die." The night demons mocked wildly. However, what happened next left everyone dumbfounded. The night demon clansman's jaws almost dropped. All of the spell techniques struck Su Chen's body. only to be repelled in a peculiar manner. As for those spiritual powers that swept over, most of them were torn apart by Su Chen's powerful physical body. Only the mental strength released by the male Protoss left a shallow scar on Su Chen's body, but it was not a big deal. Su Chen also noticed this point. He found that the spirit race man's spiritual force contained a trace of space-cutting power. It was very likely that he had entered the void battleground and awakened some special ability that could cause him some damage. However, this bit of power was nothing more than an itch to him. A bunch of trash. Su Chen snorted coldly and continued to charge forward. Let's fight. Just as Su Chen was about to reach them, the three strange races with horns on their heads looked at each other and threw out a large silver net. At first, this large silver net was only about 10 feet in size, but when it spread out in the wind, it grew to 100 feet in size and covered Su Chen. As the distance was too close, Su Chen could not dodge in time. At the critical moment, he quickly took out the integrated 5 Extremes mountain to block in front of him. In the next moment, the large silver net covered Su Chen and the integrated 5 Extremes mountain together. Haha, let's see how you're going to escape from our silver spirit sky net. The three strange races who had thrown themselves into the horns began to laugh wantonly, as if they were treating Su Chen like a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. You want to trap me with a mere divine weapon? Su Chen sneered and controlled the integrated 5 Extremes mountain to collide with the silver spirit sky net. Chapter 793. There was a loud bang. The collision of the primordial 5 Extremes mountain was like an earthquake. The silver spirit sky capturing net trembled violently as if it was wailing. However, although the collision was powerful, it did not destroy the silver spirit sky capturing net. The three-horned foreign beings heaved a collective sigh of relief upon seeing this. This is a good opportunity. Let's join forces and kill him. Seeing that Su Chen was really trapped, the man from the Night Demon clan was overjoyed. He held a long black sword in his hand and took the lead to attack Su Chen. The others reacted and attacked Su Chen together. Clang. The man from the Night Demon clan hacked at Su Chen's chest with his sword, but it was as if he had hacked at an iron plate. There was a sound of metal clashing. How is this possible? The man from the Night Demon clan took a few steps back with his huge sword in hand. He looked at Su Chen in horror and his head was buzzing. The others also stopped at this moment, their faces full of shock and doubt. Previously, Su Chen's ability to ignore spell techniques and spiritual power attacks had already made them feel incredulous. They did not expect that Su Chen could even ignore physical attacks. Didn't this mean that Su Chen was an existence that could not be killed? What was the point of continuing to kill? At this moment, Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed. Then a faint golden light appeared on his palms. Then he grabbed the silver spirit sky capturing net with both hands and activated the 100 times great strength technique. With a crack, a hole was torn in the silver spirit sky capturing net. Damn it! Witnessing this scene, everyone was stunned. He could tear a divine artifact apart with his bare hands. How strong was his physique and how terrifying was his strength to do this? Was Su Chen still human? An extreme feeling of fear spread in the hearts of the experts. In the face of a terrifying existence like Su Chen, they were at a loss. They could not kill him, nor could they trap him. What method could they use to deal with Su Chen? Everyone was at a loss. Crack. Accompanied by another crisp sound, Su Chen tore open an opening once again. He was about to make his way out of the silver spirit heaven capturing net. What to do? Everyone was scared to death. Once Su Chen broke free, how terrible would that be? If things went wrong, all of them might die here. Since I can't kill him, I'll just trap him until he dies. Suddenly, an aged voice reverberated in the air. The one who spoke was none other than the saint-stage demonic beast that had yet to make a move. It leaped up from the sea and opened its mouth to bite Su Chen. Su Chen was unable to escape in a short amount of time. He could only watch as a black hole came down on him. In the next moment, he felt the world spin before his eyes as if he had experienced a teleportation. When his vision gradually became clear, he was surprised to find that he was in the middle of a vast grassland. The surrounding greenery was overflowing, and a gentle breeze was blowing. A very pleasant feeling welled up in his heart. Have I been teleported to a grassland? Suchin narrowed his eyes and glanced at it, muttering to himself. After standing on the spot for a while, he broke all the silver spirit heaven snaring net on his body. Then he leaped into the air and looked around. He saw that the grassland below was boundless, as if it extended to the horizon. Suchin faintly felt that something was wrong. After thinking for a while, he took out the intelligent war chariot and said, "Satoshi, explore. How big is this grassland?" "Master, the space here is very strange. I can't explore it," the intelligent war chariot immediately replied. "Can't explore it?" Suchin frowned deeply. It was the first time that the intelligent war chariot had encountered such a situation, which made him a little worried. Chapter 794. In order to figure out where they were, Suchin opened the chaos space and called out Wu Yazi and the others. "Where is this place?" Yuchi Jingyang exclaimed softly. "They were still in the sea before. How did they come to the grassland in the blink of an eye?" "Suchin, you haven't been teleported, have you?" Wu Yazi asked with a frown. Suddenly coming from the sea to the grassland could only be done through teleportation, so he had his suspicions. Something like that. Suchin nodded and explained what had happened. Hearing this, Shang Tsai and the others looked at each other. Being swallowed by a saint-level demon beast, and being teleported to another place, this was too strange. Li Kuiyang pondered for a while, and his expression suddenly changed. "We should be in a dream." "What? Dream?" Everyone looked at Li Kuiyang with their mouths slightly open. Li Kuiyang coughed softly and explained. "A few years ago, I heard that the sea race has a saint-level demon beast, Dreamy. It has a special ability, dream creation space, and once swallowed into the dream, you will never be able to escape." Dream creation space? Were they really trapped in the dream? Everyone's expression was a little ugly. "Senior, how can we break this dream?" Suchin asked. He didn't want to be trapped in the dream for the rest of his life, and if he wanted to leave here, he had to defeat it. From another perspective, the dream creation space can be considered an illusion, and it is constructed with mental power. If you want to break it, you have to use some extremely lethal mental power secret technique. Li Kuiyang said with a solemn expression. High-level spirit readers were rare, and those who had mental power secret techniques could be counted on one hand. Among them, only Suchin was a spirit reader. But as far as he knew, Suchin didn't have any mental power secret techniques. In this way, they could be trapped in the dream creation space. Mental power secret technique? Suchin narrowed his eyes and muttered, and his eyes suddenly lit up. In the Doomsday Merchant Center, there was a secret technique called Blade of Consciousness that required 5,000 energy points to exchange for. Although he wasn't sure if Blade of Divine Sense was a spiritual secret technique, judging from the name, it was most likely related to spiritual power. Given the current situation, if he didn't try, he would definitely not be able to escape. Anyway, he still had more than 10,000 energy points. Suchin simply exchanged for a Blade of Divine Awareness. The moment the exchange was successful, the feedback was quickly transmitted to his mind. After reading it, Suchin was overjoyed. Divine Sense Blade was indeed a spiritual force secret technique. Once it was used, spiritual force would turn into thousands of blades that would wreak havoc in the surrounding space. It could destroy the spiritual force that enveloped the surroundings overnight. It could be said that the Blade of Divine Sense was not very effective against evolvers and spirit readers, but it was the bane of spirit readers, especially in a situation where the difference in their spiritual powers was not too far apart. It was even easier to defeat the opponent with a single blow. Since the dream creation space was constructed with spiritual force, it shouldn't be a big problem to use the Blade of Divine Sense to destroy it. "Everyone, I have a way to destroy this space," Suchin said solemnly. "Really?" Everyone was pleasantly surprised and looked at Suchin. Ever since they met Suchin, they knew that Suchin was a person who created miracles time and time again. Could it continue this time? Everyone was looking forward to it. Suchin nodded and said, "When the dream is broken, there will be a big battle. Everyone should be prepared. Chapter 795. As soon as he finished speaking, Suchin flew into the air and released the divine sense blade. Instantly, thousands of invisible blades shot out in all directions. Wherever they passed, ripples appeared in the void, and there was a faint sound of something shattering. As the sound of something shattering increased, the entire void showed signs of collapsing. The grassland on the ground seemed to be affected, and was disappearing in large patches. Seeing this, Wu Yizi and the others were extremely excited. For the dream realm to appear in such a situation, it meant that it was about to be destroyed. I have never admired anyone in my life. Su Chun is the first. Yuqi Jingyang sighed with emotion. If you admire him so much, you might as well join the Sun Moon Star Palace. After all, Su Chun will be the head of the Sun Moon Star Palace sooner or later. Shang Xili laughed softly. Yuqi Jingyang pinched his chin and muttered, I can consider it. The flowing water sect had already been destroyed. To rebuild it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens. If he joined the Sun Moon Star Palace and followed Suchin, he would have a great chance of creating a glorious future. Are you really interested? Shang Xili opened her mouth slightly. Originally, she was just joking. She didn't think that Yuqi Jingyang would really want to join the Sun Moon Star Palace. After all, Yuqi Jingyang was a rank 10 cultivator. If he joined the Sun Moon Star Palace, he would be like a tiger that had grown wings. Moreover, she could guess that the reason why Yuqi Jingyang had such an idea was definitely because of Su Chen's charm. At the same time, in the sea region, there was a wave of compliments. So what if Su Chen couldn't be killed? Didn't Senior Meng Yi still swallow him? Senior Meng Yi's dream creation ability is superb. She is indeed the #1 sacred beast of the sea race. This time, it is all thanks to Senior Meng Yi's efforts that we were able to turn the tide. Otherwise, we would have all died. Just as the group of experts was praising her, Meng Yi's eyes revealed an extremely painful expression. The sea race expert noticed this and asked softly, Senior Meng Yi, what's the problem? Meng Yi gritted her teeth. Just as she was about to reply, blood suddenly gushed out from her 7 orifices, and a large hole appeared on her back. He saw Su Chen and the others rushing out of the cave. My dream creation space has been destroyed. Meng Yi cried out in pain. The dream-making space was his natal theurgy. Once it was destroyed, the damage done to it was immeasurable. At this moment, it was heavily injured and on the verge of death. How could this be? The sea tribe man stood in a daze, murmuring to himself. He could not understand why Meng Yi, as the #1 sacred beast of the sea race, could trap even a saint-level expert in her dream creation space. Why was it ineffective against Su Chen? Could it be that Su Chen was an unkillable existence? The moment the other experts saw Su Chen appear, they were scared out of their wits. They looked at each other and fled for their lives. With Su Chen's brutal means, once he was caught, it was very likely that he would be killed on the spot. Who would be foolish enough to stay here? As for fighting Su Chen to the death, don't even think about it. Even the saint-level Meng Yi was no match for him. In Su Chen's eyes, they were even less than ants. Let's attack together and leave a few alive. Su Chen roared and attacked Meng Yi first. Wu Yazi and the others also looked for targets to attack. For a moment, the entire sea region was filled with raging waves and shrill screams. Su Chen chopped down with his saber and killed the heavily injured Meng Yi. Then he punched the sea tribe man to death. Following that, a dazzling purple light flashed under his feet. He turned into a flash of light and chased after the 3 strange races with horns. Chapter 796. With 2 loud bangs, 2 of the horned aliens were killed on the spot by Su Chen. Although the other one was not dead, he was severely injured by Su Chen and lost the ability to move. He spared his life because it was his first time seeing such an alien, and he wanted to confirm which race he was from. Then he quickly went to kill the others. Half an hour later, Su Chen returned to the intelligent war chariot, with an elderly human and the horned alien. As for the other humans and aliens, they had all been killed. Su Chen, this guy is the head of the Ling family, Ling Xiaotian. Shang Xili pointed at the elderly human and reminded him. Su Chen nodded slightly. He was not in a hurry to interrogate him. Instead, he asked the horned alien, "Which race are you from?" Senior Su, I'm the chief of the horned demon race, Lung Jiqing. Lung Jiqing knelt at Su Chen's feet and said in a trembling voice, "Horned demon race?" Su Chen muttered and snorted. "Who told you to ambush me here?" "Jin Yonan of the god race," Lung Jiqing hurriedly replied. Su Chen pondered for a moment and quickly remembered that Jin Yonan was the father of Jin Su, whom he had killed. The hatred for his son's death was irreconcilable. It was understandable that Jin Yonan wanted to avenge Jin Su. However, he seemed to remember that Jin Yonan was only at level 9. How could a level 9 send a level 10 fighter to kill him? "You listened to Jin Yonan's orders?" Su Chen narrowed his eyes and stared coldly at Lung Jiqing. "Senior, the horned demon race is a subordinate force of the god race. Jin Yonan has a saint-level fighter behind him. We have no choice but to listen to his orders," Lung Jiqing hurriedly explained. In other words, they did not want to come here to kill him. It was all Jin Yonan's fault. Su Chen pursed his lips. "I don't care if you were forced or not. Since you dared to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed." Just as he was about to attack, Lung Jiqing suddenly shouted, "Senior, don't kill me. I can give you something in exchange." "Tell me." Su Chen stopped. There was no difference between killing Lung Jiqing and crushing an ant. There was no harm in listening to what he had to say, and then it wouldn't be too late to act. "I have news about the machinery hive mind," Li Jiqing said without hesitation. "Mechanical heart?" Hearing this name, Su Chen's heart thumped fiercely, and his eyes shone with an intense light. The mechanical heart was something that could upgrade the intelligent war chariot and awaken the golden puppet. It was simply too important to him. "Where is it?" Su Chen asked anxiously. Lung Jiqing could see that Su Chen seemed to be particularly concerned about the machinery hive mind. He thought for a moment and said, "Senior, I can tell you about the machinery hive mind, but you must swear to spare my life." He knew that this was his only chance to survive. Whether Su Chen agreed or not, he had to try. Su Chen rubbed his nose as a bone-chilling expression appeared on his face. He glanced at Lung Jiqing, opened the chaos space, and called Chao Ran out. Since Lung Jiqing did not know what was good for him, he could only use punishment. "Chen Ge, what's the matter?" Chao Ran was a little confused when Su Chen suddenly called him out. Su Chen stretched out his hand and pointed at Lung Jiqing, saying coldly, "Torture him. Let him experience what it means to live a life worse than death." "Understood." Chao Ran licked his lips and walked toward Lung Jiqing excitedly. Su Chen released his mental power and restrained Lung Jiqing, making it easier for Chao Ran to act. Chapter 797. "Ah!" Inside the car, Lung Jiqing's shrill scream rang out. In the face of such torture, not many people can withstand it, even if they have reached level 10. Ling Xiaotian, who was next to him, couldn't help but tremble when he saw this scene, and cold sweat broke out on his back. Lung Jiqing screamed for a while, and the last line of defense in his heart finally collapsed. He begged for mercy. "Senior, I'll tell you everything. Wouldn't it be better if you were so tactful earlier?" Su Chen curled his lips, motioning Chao Ran to stop, and then said lightly, "Say it, don't make me wait too long." Lung Jiqing gasped for breath and said truthfully, "A mechanical heart has appeared in the Elf continent, and a large number of powerhouses are rushing to the Elf continent at this moment." "The Elf continent?" Su Chen raised his eyebrows. Not only had he heard of the Elf continent, but he had also made a deal with the Elf Princess Moon Spirit. Strictly speaking, he had helped Moon Spirit. "Where did you get this news?" Su Chen stared at Lung Jiqing and asked sternly. The mechanical heart was an ore that provided energy for the saint-level puppets, and its preciousness was self-evident. No matter who it was, as long as they got the mechanical heart, they would definitely hide it. So how did the news spread out? "I learned about it from the Protoss," Lung Jiqing replied, and then explained, "Rumor has it that in half a month, an auction will be held in the Moonshine City, the holy city of the Elf continent, and the mechanical heart will be auctioned. Hearing this, Su Chen pondered. Logically speaking, something as precious as the mechanical heart would not appear in an auction, but there was no guarantee that someone would take the risk of auctioning it due to the lack of cultivation resources. Satoshi, is there a boundary point that leads to the elf continent nearby? Su Chen asked. The mechanical heart was related to whether the golden puppet could be awakened, and he planned to go to the elf continent to take a look. No. The intelligent war vehicle replied. Although the intelligent war vehicle has opened the function of traversing between realms, it still needs to find the corresponding boundary point. Otherwise, it would be easy to enter the realms of other races. Su Chen, are you not going to Qingyan Island? Wu Yazi probed. Let's go to the elf continent for now, Su Chen said in a deep voice. The purpose of going to Green Cloud Island was to find the Tree of Life. The value of the Tree of Life was actually above the mechanical heart. However, he did not know if there was a Tree of Life on Qingyan Island, so it did not matter if he went later. The Moonlight City auction was about to begin. If he missed it, he would most likely lose the mechanical heart. Given how precious the machinery heart was, if he missed this opportunity, who knew when he would be able to obtain it again? However, it wasn't easy to travel to the Elven continent. First, they had to determine the boundary point. Su Chen thought that there must be a boundary point that connects to the elf race's continent near the Void Pierce stage, because Moon Spirit had once appeared on Void Pierce Island. However, Chongshu Island was too far away from here. Once he got there, maybe the auction in the Moonshine City would have already ended. How can I quickly enter the elf continent? Su Chen frowned and pondered. Suddenly, his eyes lit up and he asked Lung Jiqing, does your horned demon race have a boundary passage that connects to the elf continent? If there was a boundary passage between the two continents, it meant that the two continents were very close to each other. Then it would be easy to determine a boundary point and travel to the elf continent. There is one, but only level 6 cultivators are allowed to enter freely, Lung Jiqing replied. Su Chen was delighted. As long as he could confirm that there was a boundary passage, everything else would be easy. Chapter 798. Satoshi, is there a horned demon boundary point nearby? Su Chen asked. If there was a boundary point, they only needed to enter the horned demon race's continent, and then enter the elf race's continent. This way, they had a high chance of reaching the Moonshine City before the auction started. 100 miles ahead, there is a boundary point that leads to the Horned Demon Race's continent. You can enter the Horned Demon Race's continent. The intelligent war chariot replied with certainty. Good, head to that boundary point immediately and enter the Horned Demon Race's continent. Su Chen put Meng Yi's body into his storage bag and then gave the order. Yes. The intelligent war chariot picked up speed and flew forward. Su Chen glanced at Lung Jiqing and Ling Xiaotian and said to himself, I'll let you two live for a while longer. Entering the Horned Demon Race's continent and being unfamiliar with the place, it would be more convenient with Lung Jiqing, the patriarch of the Horned Demon Race, leading the way. As for Ling Xiaotian, he still had some things to ask him, so he would let him live for the time being. The intelligent war chariot found the boundary point and activated the shuttle function, easily entering the Horned Demon Race's continent. It was the first time Lung Jiqing and Ling Xiaotian had experienced such an unbelievable thing and were stunned. Satoshi, is there a boundary point that leads to the elf race nearby? Su Chen asked immediately. No. The intelligent war chariot searched for a while and immediately replied. Su Chen did not care and turned to Lung Jiqing and said coldly, You lead the way to the boundary passage that leads to the elf race. If you dare to play tricks, be careful of your head. I don't dare. Lung Jiqing trembled in fear and obediently led the intelligent war chariot in the right direction. Su Chen turned his gaze to Ling Xiaotian and asked indifferently, Tell me, who ordered you to kill me? It was the saint-level ancestors of the sanctuary who ordered me to do so, Ling Xiaotian hurriedly said. After seeing Su Chen's cruel methods, he did not dare to hide anything. Which saint-level ancestors are there? Su Chen rubbed his nose and asked calmly. He had already guessed that the saint-level ancestors of the human race would send people to kill him. What he wanted to know was, who exactly were these people? When he advanced to the saint stage, he would definitely slaughter them all. Apart from the Sun Moon Star Palace's saint-level ancestors, all the other saint-level ancestors have the same intention. Ling Xiaotian gritted his teeth and said, F***ck. Su Chen could not help but curse. It was true that he had offended many people, but he couldn't afford to offend all the saint-level ancestors. Those saint-level ancestors who had nothing to do with him also wanted to kill him. They had gone too far. What's the situation with our Sun Moon Star Palace's forefather War Sky? Shang Xili asked anxiously. Forefather War Sky was related to her by blood, so she was very concerned about his safety. I think he's under house arrest. Lin Xiaotian replied. Shang Xili heaved a sigh of relief. Although he was under house arrest, at least his life was not in danger. Don't worry, Sect Master. I will definitely think of a way to save Ancestor War Sky. Su Chen comforted. Su Chen, thank you. Shang Xili said gratefully. If someone else said this, she would definitely think that they were boasting shamelessly. However, Su Chen was different. Everyone knew about Su Chen's talent and strength. It would not be long before he advanced to the saint stage. At that time, who would be a match for Su Chen? Therefore, Shang Xili trusted Su Chen's words completely. Chapter 799. We're family. You don't have to be so courteous with me, Sect Master. Su Chen smiled and turned to Ling Xiaotian. How many sage-level humans are there in the holy region? Since the sage-level humans wanted to kill him, he naturally wanted to teach them a lesson. He wanted to see how many people wanted to go against him. I'm not sure exactly how many there are, but there are at least a few dozen of them. Ling Xiaotian thought for a moment and replied. Su Chen estimated that the number was about right. Every major force in the mysterious heavenly continent had one or two sage-level humans. In addition to the countless islands, it was normal for there to be a few dozen sage-level humans. Since he had asked all the questions he wanted, there was no need for Ling Xiaotian to stay. Su Chen punched Ling Xiaotian's head without warning, and threw his body out of the car. Lung Jiqing's teeth chattered when he saw this. Su Chen killed him without any hesitation, which was a huge blow to him. After killing Ling Xiaotian, Su Chen clapped his hands and sat in the driver's seat, as if he had done something insignificant. He began to organize the fragments that he had obtained earlier. After killing a sage-level demon beast and a dozen foreign tribesmen, he had obtained a total of more than 10,000 fragments. It was a huge harvest. After that, under Lung Jiqing's guidance, the intelligent war chariot sped along without facing any obstacles. It could be said that it was very smooth. However, after driving for 5 days, they still had not reached the interworld passage that connected to the elf tribe. This aroused Su Chen's suspicion. Lung, you're not playing any tricks on me, are you? Why haven't we reached the destination yet? Su Chen asked coldly. Lung Jiqing was shocked. He was afraid that Su Chen would kill him if he was unhappy. He quickly explained, Senior, we're almost there. It'll take half a day at most. Su Chen snorted and sat back in the driver's seat. He could afford to wait for half a day. If Lung Jiqing dared to play any tricks, he would make Lung Jiqing regret living in this world. Half a day passed in a flash. When a huge stone tower appeared in front of the intelligent war chariot, Lung Jiqing suppressed his excitement and said to Su Chen, Elder, the domain passage is in the stone tower. Su Chen nodded slightly and said to the intelligent war chariot, Satoshi, check that stone tower. Is there a domain passage? You can even investigate? When Lung Jiqing heard this, his face suddenly became abnormally ugly, and at the same time, his heart thumped wildly. Master, there is no realm passage inside, but there is a saint-level existence and several level 9 cultivators. The intelligent war chariot immediately reminded him. There was no realm passage, but there was a saint-level existence? Su Chen immediately realized that he had been deceived, and his face was filled with bone-chilling coldness. Do you know the consequences of lying to me? Su Chen sneered. He reached out and grabbed one of Lung Jiqing's arms, then pulled hard. A crack sound was heard. Lung Jiqing's entire arm was severed at the base, and bright red blood flowed out, drenching half of his body red. However, Lung Jiqing endured the pain and shouted in the direction of the stone tower, "Ancestor, save me!" As if hearing Lung Jiqing's cry for help, a terrifying pressure suddenly swept over from the stone tower. Then, an old man with horns on his head shot out of the stone tower, and came in front of the intelligent war chariot, in the blink of an eye. At the same time, 5 level 9 cultivators followed closely behind and surrounded the intelligent war chariot. Chapter 800. Let go of Lung Jiqing, or I'll make you beg for death. The horned demon Saint Level howled angrily. The immense pressure swept over again, causing the intelligent war chariot to tremble slightly. Su Chun, our ancestor, is here. As long as you let me go, I can plead for you and let you live. Lung Jiqing also threatened at this moment. Su Chun pursed his lips and slapped Li Jiqing's mouth, causing his entire jaw to collapse. Ugh! Lung Jiqing wailed in pain after suffering such a heavy blow. Su Chun grabbed Lung Jiqing's neck with one hand and dragged him off the chariot. Wu Yazi and the others followed closely behind. Facing a saint-level existence, they were all calm and fearless. After all, with Su Chun around, even a saint level couldn't do much. Human, do you want to die? The horned demon Saint Level was enraged when he saw Lung Jiqing being tortured. An extremely strong murderous aura surrounded him. His murderous aura soared, as if he wanted to skin Su Chun alive. You're just an ant. How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? Su Chun smiled contemptuously and crushed Lung Jiqing's head. You. The horned demon Saint Level was so angry that his mouth trembled. He could no longer suppress the anger in his heart and charged at Su Chun. Su Chun had gone too far by killing Lung Jiqing in front of him. At this moment, he swore to himself that he would definitely cut Su Chun into pieces. At the same time that the horned demon Saint Level attacked, the 5 level 9 cultivators also surrounded him. Wu Yazi and the others looked at each other and found their own opponents to fight. Su Chun opened the pet rearing space and summoned the gold-devouring bug. He pointed at the horned demon Saint Level and said in a low voice, "Little bug, go and meet him." The gold-devouring bug had already reached level 10. Other than him, almost no one could suppress it at level 10. On the continent, the horned demon saints could only unleash the power of level 10 at most. They might not be a match for the gold-devouring beetles. The gold-devouring beetles charged ferociously at the night demon saints upon receiving the order. Bang! The night demon saint's fist landed on the gold-devouring bug's body, but it only made it sway slightly. On the other hand, he was struck by the gold-devouring beetle's claw, and was forced back dozens of steps before he could stabilize himself. Level 10 gold-devouring beetles. After recognizing the true identity of the gold-devouring beetles, the horned demon saint was shocked. The gold-devouring beetles had an extremely strong defense. It was almost impossible to find a match for them in the same realm. If they were in the void, he could rely on his level advantage to crush the gold-devouring beetles. However, on the continent, his level was suppressed to level 10. It was impossible for him to defeat the gold-devouring beetles of the same level. While the horned demon sages were still in a daze, they suddenly heard a few screams. He looked up and saw that his 5 level 9 subordinates had all been killed. They're all level 10 cultivators. Seeing this, the horned demon saint's expression turned extremely ugly. A level 10 gold-devouring beetle was enough to make him suffer. Now that there were multiple level 10 cultivators, he was in an extremely dangerous situation. If he was not careful, he might even lose his life here. When he thought of this, he changed his mind and turned to flee. You think you can escape? Su Chun smiled condescendingly. Then he released his spiritual energy and easily trapped the horned demon saint where he was. What terrifying spiritual energy! The horned demon saint's expression changed again as if he was in a swamp. He knew that if he was trapped here, it would be impossible for him to escape when the gold-devouring beetles and the level 10 cultivators arrived. You want to trap me? Dream on. The horned demon saint clenched his teeth and spat out a mouthful of blood onto the horn on his head. Chapter 801. In the next moment, a layer of blood-red light shone from the black, sharp horn. Like a shield, it enveloped the horned demon sage. This blood-red shield seemed to have a strange tearing power. The blood-red light flashed slightly and easily tore apart the spiritual energy attached to the shield. The horned demon sages that had regained their freedom wanted to continue running, but they were blocked by the gold-devouring beetles that were charging towards them. Scram! The horned demon sage was furious. He clenched his fist and punched. There was a loud boom. The punch landed solidly on the gold-devouring beetle's body and sent it flying. "You've become so strong?" Suchin narrowed his eyes and muttered. He saw clearly that the horned demon sage had used some kind of secret technique. When the blood-red shield appeared, his defense and strength increased by several times. It was impossible for the gold-devouring bugs to stop him now. "None of the people I want to kill can escape." A sneer appeared at the corner of Suchen's mouth. His feet instantly flashed with a bewitching purple light, then he chased after Yi Qingyu. After a few breaths, he had already appeared in front of the horned demon sage, blocking his path. "Why are you so fast?" The horned demon sage's heart thumped. He clenched his teeth and punched at Suchen. "You want to compete with me in strength?" Suchen curled his lips. He activated the golden scales of the arm and the 100 times strength technique at the same time. Then, he stretched out his hand and grabbed the fist that was coming at him. "Go to hell." Seeing how arrogant Suchen was, the horned demon sage was overjoyed. The blood-red shield on his body was a bloodline power awakened in the void battlefield. It could increase his strength by several times. This punch was like the combined attack of several level 10 cultivators. It was so powerful that even the gold-devouring bugs could not block it. Suchen was only a level 10 human. If he dared to take this attack head-on, he would be courting death. However, what happened next stunned the horned demon saint level powerhouses. Not only was his punch unable to send Suchen flying, but he was also firmly clamped down, unable to even struggle free. "Why is your strength so great?" The horned demon sage level expert stared at Suchen with his eyes wide open. His eyes were filled with disbelief and fear. Suchen ignored him. With a sudden burst of strength, he slammed the horned demon saint to the ground. A loud bang was heard. The horned demon saint level expert fell heavily to the ground. The earth trembled, and dense cracks appeared on the ground. The horned demon saint level expert was lying on the ground, dizzy from the fall. His face was filled with confusion. A dignified saint level powerhouse was thrown to the ground like a dead dog. Unexpectedly, before he could catch his breath, he was once again lifted into the air by Suchen. Then he made another intimate contact with the ground. Under the huge impact, blood flowed from the corner of the horned demon sage level expert's mouth. He knew very well that he would be smashed to death sooner or later if he continued like this. He shouted, "Stop. Let's talk." "Talk my ass." Suchen was unmoved and continued to attack. Bang bang for a moment, the earth trembled, and loud bangs echoed in the surroundings. Suchen actually used such a method to deal with a saint-level existence. He's too powerful. Seeing this, Wu Yazi and the others were shocked. Chapter 802. Suchen didn't know how many times he had smashed the horned demon saint-level expert's body, but he only stopped when a large amount of shards had appeared. The shards meant that the horned demon saint-level expert had completely fallen. What a piece of trash! Suchen glanced at the corpse of the horned demon saint-level expert and snorted softly before collecting the shards. He then called for everyone to return to the chariot. "Satoshi, search for any horned demons nearby." Suchen said immediately. Since he didn't know the exact location of the realm passage to the elves, he had to capture a few horned demons to lead the way. "Master, we discovered a few horned demons 50 kilometers ahead." The intelligent war chariot searched and immediately replied. "All right, lock onto them and capture them immediately," Suchen ordered. "Yes." The intelligent war chariot moved at full speed and quickly caught up to the horned demons. Su Chen slowly got out of the carriage and swept his gaze across the 5-horned demon clansmen. He coldly said, "The few of you who know the exact location of the realm passage that connects to the elves can live. Human, how did you enter the horned demon continent? Answer truthfully, or we won't be polite." A level 5 horned demon didn't take Su Chen's words seriously, and instead shouted at Su Chen. Su Chen didn't hold back either. He released his mind power and slowly crushed the horned demon's body. After witnessing Su Chen's powerful strength and brutal methods, the remaining horned demon clansmen were so scared that their bodies began to tremble. "Do you know?" Su Chen reached out and pointed at a short horned demon. "Senior, I don't know." The horned demon was shocked and hurriedly replied. Su Chen snorted coldly and controlled his mind power to kill the horned demon on the spot. Then his gaze fell on the remaining 3 horned demon clansmen. 2 of them actually turned around and ran after looking at each other. However, it had only taken a few steps before it exploded and died. "Since you didn't run, it seems like you already know?" Su Chen looked at the last horned demon clansman and said calmly, "Junior indeed knows." The horned demon clansman shuddered as he replied with a trembling voice. Su Chen nodded slightly. "Lead the way. When we get there, I will spare your life." "Thank you, Senior." The horned demon clansman let out a heavy sigh. Later, under the guidance of the horned demon, the intelligent war chariot drove in a certain direction. 5 days later, they successfully arrived at a place a few miles away from the realm passage. After confirming that there was a world junction connected to the elven continent nearby, Su Chen released the horned demon. Later, the intelligent war chariot activated the shuttle function and entered the elf continent from this boundary point. As soon as they entered the elf continent, the first thing they saw was a dense forest. It seemed to be boundless, and they couldn't see the end of it. Su Chen glanced around and said to the intelligent war chariot, "Satoshi, search around. Are there any elves around?" They had just entered the elf continent and were unfamiliar with the place. If they wanted to hurry to Moonshine City as soon as possible, they had to find the elves to inquire. "Master, we didn't find any elves, but there is a level 8 monster not far away," the intelligent war chariot replied. A level 8 monster had already gained intelligence and could speak human language. Perhaps they could get some information by capturing and interrogating it. Even if they didn't know anything, it didn't matter. If they killed it, they could obtain a level 8 energy stone and a large number of fragments. Chapter 803. Satoshi, fly over and catch it, Su Chen ordered. Yes. The intelligent war chariot locked onto the level 8 beast and sped forward. When it was less than 100 meters away from the beast, the intelligent war chariot suddenly said, "Master, it has discovered us and has begun to flee. Its speed is even faster than mine." Su Chen made a sound of surprise. The intelligent war chariot's flying speed reached more than 1,000 miles per hour. That level 8 beast was actually faster than the intelligent war chariot. This was somewhat out of his expectations. "Satoshi, capture its image," Su Chen ordered. He wanted to see what kind of beast could have such speed. The image on the central control screen changed. Soon a palm-sized silver bird appeared. It looked very cute and was completely different from a level 8 beast. "This is a level 8 beast?" Su Chen opened his mouth slightly and was stunned for a moment. "Su Chen, this is a swift bird, also known as a treasure hunting bird. Its population is very rare, and it is almost extinct." After Li Kuiyang saw the appearance of the silver bird, he suddenly became excited. "Senior, what can it do?" Su Chen asked in a low voice. Listening to Li Kuiyang's tone, this silver bird seemed to have a great background. In addition to being fast, the swift bird also has a very strong perception ability. Not only can it predict the danger around it, but it can also detect whether there are treasures nearby, Li Kuiyang explained. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. The swift bird's ability to predict danger and its ability to find treasures was not to be underestimated. If he took it as a spirit pet, it would definitely be of great help. Thinking of this, he opened the door and stood in midair. Then he put the intelligent war chariot into the chaos space. Since the intelligent war chariot could not catch up to the swift bird, he could only chase it himself. Satoshi, report the swift bird's location at any time. Suchin ordered and activated the rapid combat boots. Under the guidance of the intelligent war chariot, he quickly chased after them. After reaching level 10, his speed was already extremely fast. Coupled with the acceleration effect of the rapid combat boots, his running speed was even faster than before. In less than 10 minutes, Suchin had already chased the swift bird to less than 20 meters away. He then released his mental power and easily captured it. Let me go! Let me go! The swift alarm bird struggled in fear, roaring and screaming. However, it was only a level 8 demonic beast. How could it break free from Suchin's mental restraint? Suchin manipulated his spiritual force and pulled it closer. He looked at it and said to himself, the taste of a level 8 monster beast should be very good. Should I roast it? Or is it better to fry them? Swiftbird was so scared that its whole body trembled. It said loudly, Senior, I'm a swift bird. Not only can I predict danger, but I can also sense if there are treasures nearby. Don't eat me. It still thought that Suchin was going to eat it. It hurriedly said its advantages to move Suchin, so that Suchin would change his mind. In that case, you're still useful. Suchin rubbed his nose and pretended to be deep and said, I don't have to eat you, but you have to be my spiritual pet. I'm willing to be Senior's spiritual pet. Swiftbird nodded furiously. Seeing this, Suchin couldn't help but smile. Then he took out a bottle of pet potion and fed it to Swiftbird. Master, I feel danger. Swiftbird had just taken the pet potion when it suddenly warned. Chapter 804. Danger? Suchin raised his eyebrows and quickly glanced around, but found nothing. Where did the danger come from? Thinking of the Swiftbird's ability to foresee danger, Suchin was not careless and quickly contacted the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, search around. Is there any unusual movement? No. The intelligent war chariot immediately replied. No. Suchin frowned slightly and was about to release his mental strength to investigate. Right in front of him, ripples suddenly appeared in the void. Immediately after, a cold light flashed from within and shot straight at him. You're courting death. Suchin snorted coldly. A faint golden light appeared on his palm, and he punched out. There was a loud bang. Suchin's fist hit the cold light in the middle, but a certain part of the void trembled violently, and circles of ripples appeared. Then 2 beautiful young women appeared from it. One of them was tall and slender, with a trace of heroic spirit in her beautiful eyes. The other person was petite and looked a little mischievous. Both of them had long silver hair, which added a bit of beauty to their appearance. Human, why is your physical body so strong? The tall woman looked at Suchin and let out a soft sound of surprise. There were very few people who could block her blow with their physical body, let alone a weak human. This made her feel very surprised. Suchin ignored her and said coldly, Since you launched a sneak attack, you'd better give me a reasonable explanation. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. Rude. Do you really think you can be rampant in front of me after blocking my blow? The tall woman laughed, and a touch of contempt appeared on her face. She put on a look of disdain, as if she didn't take Suchin seriously. Sister, don't say that. The petite woman pulled the tall woman's arm, then turned to Suchin and said embarrassedly, Human friend, my sister attacked you in a hurry because you stole our spiritual pet. Stole your spiritual pet? Suchin's expression froze. He looked down at the swift bird in his hand and said in a deep voice, You mean this swift bird is your spiritual pet? Yes. The petite woman nodded heavily. Human, for the sake of your ignorance, hand over the swift bird, and we can pretend that nothing happened. The tall woman stared at Suchin and snorted coldly. Threatening me? Suchin snorted and asked the swift bird, Shao Sun, are you their spiritual pet? Master, I'm not their spiritual pet, I was caught by them. The swift bird replied affirmatively. When they heard the quick alarm bird call Suchin master, the tall woman and the man's expression changed. Once a beast recognized its master, It would be difficult to tame it. They had spent a lot of time on the swift alarm bird, so they couldn't accept it. Did you two hear that? The swift bird is my spiritual pet, and you dare to have ideas about it. You're courting death. Suchin shouted coldly. Damn it. The tall woman flew into a rage. She held a silver spear in her hand and stabbed it straight at Suchin. Sister, don't do it. The petite woman tried to stop her, but it was too late. Suchin didn't care at first, but when the silver spear came close, he felt that something was wrong. The silver spear had the power to tear space, which was the same as the space-tearing power released by the Chaos Sky-Splitting Sword. Space-sacred weapon. Realizing that the silver spear was a space-sacred weapon, Suchin stopped looking down on it. Chapter 805. Suddenly, a small mountain of multicolored light appeared in front of Suchin. Clang. Right at this moment, the silver spear collided heavily with the integrated 5 Extremes mountain, emitting a clanging sound. You have a sacred weapon. The tall woman looked at Suchin in a daze, her face full of shock. Suchin snorted and ignored her. Then he moved and appeared in front of the tall woman. He raised his sword and slashed. In an instant, a white torrent emitting a terrifying wave of ice magic swept forward. Seeing this, the tall woman's eyelids twitched. Suchin's speed was as fast as lightning, and he was also a high-level Dharma psychic. She found it unbelievable. However, she would not sit still. Just as she was about to use the spear in her hand to block, she suddenly felt an invisible force wrap around her body. All her movements became sluggish. Mental energy? The tall woman's expression changed. If she could not break free in time, she would definitely be frozen by the ice magic. Oh no! The petite woman saw that the situation was critical and appeared in front of the tall woman with a ghostly speed. Then she waved a silver scimitar. Several streaks of silver light streaked across the sky, and a black hole appeared in the void, swallowing the white torrent that was flying toward it. Then the black hole and the white torrent disappeared without a trace. Void transference? Suchin narrowed his eyes and muttered. The petite woman was also a level 10 cultivator, but her strength was obviously higher than the tall woman. Especially the ability of void transference. It was very strange. It made him wonder if it was a special ability that he had awakened after entering the void battleground. At this time, the petite woman slashed the mental energy around the tall woman. Then she said to Suchin, Friend, we don't want the swift bird anymore. Let's leave now. Wait a minute. Suchin shouted. What else do you want? The tall woman glared at Suchin angrily. She seemed to be unconvinced, but more than that, she was afraid. Not only did Suchin have a sacred weapon, but he was also a full-time cultivator. His strength was something she had never seen in her life. If not for the petite woman's help, she might have been captured or killed. Now that she heard that Suchin did not want them to leave, she was a little uneasy. You can fight and leave as you wish. How can it be so easy in this world? Suchin snorted. Hearing this, the two women's expressions changed. Obviously, Suchin did not plan to let them go so easily. If it were someone else, they would not have cared. But Suchin was different. Suchin was too strong. Even if they joined forces, they might not be a match. The petite girl thought for a moment, then gritted her teeth and said, If you don't pursue this matter, we can pay you something. Tell me about it, Suchin said calmly. He did not attack immediately, because he wanted to see if they had anything good. After all, both of them had a sacred weapon each. They were definitely people with a lot of money. I can give you some healing pills and 10 level 7 energy stones, the petite woman said slowly. Suchin snorted. She had the nerve to take out such little things? Was she trying to get rid of a beggar? Your lives are only worth this little? Suchin sneered and opened the pet-raising space and chaos space. He summoned the gold-devouring beetles, Wu Yazi and the others. Chapter 806. Level 10 gold-devouring beetles. And so many level 10 cultivators. When the petite girl and the tall girl saw that Suchin had summoned so many experts, they were shocked. They didn't even have the confidence to win against Suchin alone. With the addition of so many experts, their situation became extremely dangerous. After the two looked at each other, they seemed to have made a decision. Their bodies suddenly shone with starlight, and ripples appeared in the surrounding void. Want to run? Suchin snorted lightly, holding a giant black sword in his hand, and swept it across the air. The other party was probably trying to use spatial teleportation to leave this place. The primal chaos skysplitter sword had the power to tear space. As long as the surrounding space was disturbed, spatial teleportation would be impossible. As expected, when a black vortex wreaked havoc in the surroundings, the ripples with silver light immediately dissipated. Seeing this scene, the petite girl and the tall girl's faces were extremely ugly. Are you going to surrender? Or do you want to force me to attack? Suchin glanced at the two coldly, and said indifferently, Sister, let's fight it out with him. The tall girl gritted her teeth, and put on a desperate posture. The petite girl sighed faintly and turned to the tall girl with a look. Sister, let's surrender. Surrender? So straightforward? Suchin was a little surprised. After all, with the other party's strength, they could definitely fight it out. Sister, what nonsense are you talking about? How can we surrender? The tall girl's face was sullen. Obviously, she was unwilling to surrender. Only death awaits you if you don't surrender. Suchin scolded with a cold face. Then he snorted and said, If you want to surrender, throw your weapons over first. I'll only give you 3 breaths of time. The other party's 2 weapons were sacred artifacts. Once the 2 girls lost their weapons, their strength would definitely plummet. There was no need to be afraid of them causing trouble. The petite girl did not even think about it. She directly threw the silver scimitar in her hand to Suchin. Then, she snatched the tall girl's silver spear and handed it to Suchin. Suchin happily put the 2 sacred artifacts into his storage bag. He turned to the 2 girls and said, What are your names? Where are you from? Regardless of whether he killed these 2 people or not, he had to figure out their background before doing so. My name is Chimuyu. She is my sister, Chimushue. We are from the Chi clan of the Void Fortress. The petite girl, Chimuyu, heaved a sigh of relief and introduced. Void Fortress? Suchin rubbed his nose and muttered. This was the first time he had heard of this name. This was also the first time the others had heard of it, so they were all at a loss. On the other hand, Wu Yazi's expression suddenly changed as he asked, Your Qi clan's ancestor is Qi Qingchuan? Exactly. Chimuyu nodded. Hiss. Wu Yazi immediately sucked in a breath of cold air, and his expression became abnormally solemn. As a former sage, he had heard of some of the powerful forces in the void. As for the Qi family of the Void Fortress, it was definitely a great power with a thunderous reputation. Senior, is there a problem? Seeing the change in Wu Yazi's expression, Suchin asked in a low voice. Wu Yazi took a deep breath and explained. The Qi clan is a first-class force in the void. Their ancestor, Qi Qingchuan, is a super powerhouse at the 5th stage of the Saint Stage. 5th stage of the Saint Stage? Shang Kaili and the others opened their eyes wide in shock. One must know that the Sun Moon Star Palace also had 2 Saint Stage ancestors, but they were only at the 1st stage of the Saint Stage. Qi Qingchuan, however, was at the 5th stage of the Saint Stage, which was 4 levels higher than them. He could definitely be called a super powerhouse. Chapter 807. Suchin's expression froze. He pondered for a moment and asked Wu Yazi, Senior, there are forces in the void? According to his understanding, the void was mostly filled with spatial turbulence, and there was no place for them to stand. What method did the Qi clan use to stand tall in the void? Wu Yazi replied, You should know about the void battleground, right? The void battleground is actually a small continent in the void. The void battleground is also a small continent. Furthermore, as they exist in the void, they are constantly being attacked by the void beasts. However, the Qi clan has always been standing tall. From this, it can be seen just how powerful they are. Oh. Su Chen nodded, and was secretly amazed by the Qi clan's strength. The fact that they could fight against the void beasts was enough to prove that the Qi clan was not to be trifled with. Human, since you know who we are, do you still dare to capture us? Why don't you hand over the swift bird and our weapons and beg for our forgiveness? Qi Muxue said proudly. In her opinion, the Qi clan was so powerful that Su Chen must be scared out of his wits. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes gradually narrowed. He released his mental power without warning. While binding Qi Muxue, he raised his hand and slapped her. A crisp slap resounded in the air. The surroundings immediately fell into a strange silence. Not only were Qi Muxue and Qi Muxue stunned, but even Wu Yazi and the rest were stunned. Qi Muxue was a direct descendant of the Qi clan, and had the protection of a stage 5 sage-level expert. How could Su Chen hit her? However, after thinking about Su Chen's style of doing things, Wu Yazi and the rest were relieved. Ever since they knew Su Chen, they had never seen Su Chen afraid of anyone. Especially in the mainland, Su Chen was an existence that could do whatever he wanted. So what if he was a stage 5 sage-level expert? As long as he dared to come to the mainland, he would still be tortured by Su Chen. With strength came confidence. Amir Jr. from the Qi family dared to clamor in front of Su Chen. It was normal for him to be taught a lesson. You dare to hit me? Qi Muxue covered half of her swollen face and her eyes were filled with anger. Su Chen glared at him and scolded. One more word and I'll kill you on the spot. Was it possible for Qi Muxue to show off in front of him? He would not tolerate Qi Muxue's bad habits. You. Qi Muxue was so angry that the corners of her mouth twitched. He originally wanted to scold him, but under Su Chen's forceful gaze, he couldn't summon the slightest bit of courage and obediently shut his mouth. Friend, don't you think you've gone too far? Qi Muyu said with a sullen face. With the Qi clan's reputation, who wouldn't give them face? However, not only did Su Chen not give her any face, he even attacked her in public, which made her very angry. Gone too far. Su Chen sneered and said coldly, You guys attacked me first and even wanted to snatch my spiritual pet. You still have the nerve to say that I've gone too far? Don't you have any shame? Under Su Chen's questioning, Qi Muyu was speechless. Just as Su Chen said, they were indeed in the wrong first. Then, what will it take for you to let us go? Qi Muyu thought for a while and asked probingly. Su Chen's thought slowly turned. If he killed Qi Muyu and Qi Muxue, he could at least obtain a few thousand fragments and 2 sacred artifacts. However, if he did that, he would become enemies with the Qi family, which would not be beneficial for him to travel in the void in the future. It would be better to take the opportunity to extort them. Chapter 808. It's not that I can't let you go, but you have to give me some compensation. Su Chen said as he rubbed his nose. What do you want? Qi Muyu's expression turned serious as she asked. Previously, she had given him some things, but Su Chen didn't care about them at all. This meant that Su Chen's appetite was huge, and he might ask for an exorbitant price. The two of you are not only the direct descendants of the Qi clan, but you are also level 10 cultivators. If the things you give are too shabby, it will not be good for your status, Su Chen said as he squinted his eyes. Indeed, he is going to ask for an exorbitant price. Qi Muyu gritted her teeth as she muttered in her heart. Su Chen purposely pointed out their status, and was obviously going to ask for an exorbitant price. This made her very angry, but she couldn't do anything about it. Su Chen took a deep breath and continued. The Qi clan is also a superpower in the void. You must have accumulated a lot of wealth. Tell me, what good things do you have that are worthy of your status? The meaning behind his words was obvious. If they couldn't take out some good things, it would be impossible for them to leave this place. Qi Muyu sighed helplessly and said slowly, I can give you some level 1 void crystals and some high-quality weapons. Ki. Su Chen sneered, and his expression turned cold. You want to send me away with these things? The void crystals were obtained from the void beasts, and their quality was much higher than energy stones. A level 1 void crystal was equivalent to a level 6 energy stone. However, Su Chen had plenty of level 6 energy stones in his storage bag. Why would he be interested in them? As for ordinary weapons, they were even more trash in his eyes. Seeing that Su Chen was a little angry, Qimuyu's heart trembled. She asked anxiously, "What do you want?" "Energy stones above level 9, demon plant holy items, or ores of the same value as the mechanical heart." "I can barely do it," Su Chen said casually. Qimuyu and Qimushue were dumbfounded. They already knew that Su Chen would demand an exorbitant price, but they didn't expect it to be so exaggerated. The Qi family still had some level 9 energy stones after all. However, the demonic plant holy artifact and the mechanical heart were items that could only be found by chance. Even a large faction like the Qi family did not possess them. Wu Yazi and the others clicked their tongues. Su Chen's asking price was really ruthless. He even wanted the machinery heart. It was obvious that he wanted to take the opportunity to extort the Qi clan. In this world, only Su Chen would dare to blackmail the Qi family. Qimuyu gritted his teeth and asked, "The Qi family doesn't have any demon plant holy items or mechanical hearts, but I can give you level 9 energy stones. How many do you want?" "I'll take a little loss and give your Qi family some face. Just give me 100 pills," Su Chen said indifferently. The level 9 energy stones were mainly for the intelligent chariots and mechanical soldiers. Of course, he also knew that the other party would not be able to take out 100 pills. The reason why he did this was to wait for the other party to bargain. 100 pills? Qimuyu was stunned. He almost choked to death. At first, she thought that Su Chen would ask for 8 or 10 at most. After all, level 9 energy stones were not cabbages. Who would have thought that Su Chen would ask for 100 pills? She now suspected that Su Chen was purposely making things difficult for them. He did not plan to let them go. "We don't have that many. The most we can give you is 10, Qimuyu said angrily. "Looks like you're not going to give me face." Su Chen narrowed his eyes. His body exuded a strong murderous aura. Qimuyu suddenly realized that Su Chen had this idea. As Su Chen said, she did have something very precious on her, and its value was comparable to the mechanical heart. However, she didn't want to take it out. Once she took it out, Su Chen would definitely snatch it away. She had already given away a sage-rank puppet. If she lost the thing in her hand, it would be a big loss. Seeing Qimuyu hesitating, Su Chen sneered in his heart. He then released his spiritual force to bind Qimushue, and then grabbed Qimushue's neck and threatened, "Take out the thing, or I will kill her on the spot." Chapter 8:10. You. Qimuyu was furious. She clenched her fists tightly. However, even though she was extremely angry, she did not dare to take action. Firstly, she could not defeat Su Chen. Secondly, once she took action, Qimushue would be the first one to die. "I'll give you 3 breaths time. If you don't take it out, I'll take action." Su Chen's face was cold. He could not help but tighten his grip. Qimushue rolled her eyes. "Stop. I'll give it to you." Morong Yu could not bear to see Morong Shui being tortured. She shouted anxiously, "I'm just joking with you. Why are you so agitated?" Su Chen chuckled and loosened his grip. He stretched out his hand in front of Qimuyu and said in a low voice, "Give it to me." Qimuyu gnashed his teeth in anger. There was nothing he could do. He glared at Su Chen to express his dissatisfaction. Then, he took out a bottle of green liquid from his storage pouch and handed it to Su Chen. "What's this?" Su Chen looked at it and asked softly. "This is a bottle of primary life liquid." Qimuyu sighed and explained, "The primary life liquid can not only increase one's lifespan, but also heal one's injuries. It even has the effect of reviving the dead." Upon hearing this, Su Chen's expression changed abruptly. If the primary life liquid's effect was true, its value was almost the same as the life crystal core that he had obtained from Li Liang. The others were also shocked. Especially Wu Yazi and Li Kuiyang, who did not have much lifespan left, knew the preciousness of the primary life liquid. Su Chen took a deep breath and sent the bottle of primary life liquid into the planting dimension. Then he communicated with the longevity fruit tree. Xiao Shou, do you know about the primary life liquid? The primary life liquid is the juice of the tree of life, the longevity fruit tree replied quickly. The juice of the tree of life? Su Chen's eyes lit up. Then he said, are you sure that the bottle contains the primary life liquid? The longevity fruit tree opened the bottle, and an extremely rich aura of life immediately spread out. Master, this is the life original fluid. I can't be wrong. The life origin fruit tree was extremely excited. After getting a positive answer, Su Chen closed the plant dimension and asked Chimuyu, where did you get this bottle of primary life liquid? Since the life original fluid was the sap of the tree of life, and the tree of life had disappeared, was there any connection between the two? The life original fluid was given to me by my ancestor, Chimuyu said grumpily. Originally, he had come to the elf continent to bid for the machinery heart. Unexpectedly, not only did he fail to obtain the mechanical heart, the swift bird, the saint-level puppet, and the primary life fluid had all been snatched away by Su Chen. It really made her depressed to the extreme. I've given you everything. Can you let us go now? Chimushua asked coldly. Su Chen was very satisfied with the saint-level puppet and a bottle of primary life fluid. However, it was impossible for him to let them go so easily. I can let you go, but you have to swear an oath that you won't harm me in the future, Su Chen said with a serious face. In order to avoid the revenge of the Qi family in the future, he had to make Qi Muyu and Qi Mushua swear an oath. Oaths of the heavenly way had a certain binding effect on cultivators. The higher the level, the stronger the binding effect. Qi Mushua was about to go crazy with anger. Originally, she had planned to go back to her family and gather experts to deal with Su Chen. However, once she swore an oath, all her plans would be ruined. He could only forcefully suppress this resentment. She was extremely unwilling to accept this. Chapter 8:11. Chimuyu also didn't want to make an oath. She didn't want to retaliate against Su Chen, but she felt that Su Chen was going too far. Seeing that Chimuyu and Chimuyu didn't express their opinion, Su Chen curled his lips. Since you two don't agree, I can only return the things to you, and then kill you. Kill us, and the things will still be yours. Chimuyu and Chimuyu were indignant, but in the face of Su Chen's coercion, they had no choice but to make a poison oath. Well, the things have been given to you, and the oath has been made. This time, you should let us go, right? Chimushua said coldly with a straight face. Being bullied by Su Chen for so long, she was extremely aggrieved in her heart. She just wanted to leave here as soon as possible. No hurry, there is still a small matter that needs your help, Su Chen said faintly. There is still a matter? Chimushua and Chimuyu looked at each other. Their faces sank, and their hearts were even more uneasy. I am not a bad person. Look at how scared you are. Su Chen chuckled and then said, you guide me to the route. When we reach Moonshine City, I will let you leave. It turned out to be a guide. Chimushua and Chimuyu breathed a sigh of relief. Later, Su Chen took out the intelligent war chariot. After everyone got on, under the guidance of Chimushua and Chimuyu, they went straight to Moonshine City. On the way, Chimuyu suddenly thought of something and said to Su Chen, can you return our weapons to us? Their weapons had reached the level of sacred tools. Once they lost it, their combat effectiveness would be greatly reduced. Even at level 10, it was very dangerous to be in the elf continent. However, she also knew that the value of sacred tools was very high. Would Su Chen be willing to give them back? The value of sacred tools is self-evident. No matter where it is placed, it is a hot commodity. If it is placed in an auction, the value will probably double. Su Chen didn't answer directly, but instead he said something meaningful. The meaning behind his words was very clear. If he didn't pay a price, he wouldn't be able to take back the two saint artifacts. Those two weapons clearly belong to us. What else do you want? Chimushua's chest heaved. She was so angry that her lungs were about to explode. Su Chen clearly wanted to scam them. He was simply too shameless. Watch your words. Su-chin scolded with a cold face. We were enemies before, and those 2 saint artifacts were my spoils of war. You still have the nerve to say that they're yours? Is everyone in your Qi family as shameless as you? You. Qi Muxue was so angry that she couldn't say anything. It was obviously Su-chin who was in the wrong, but she couldn't refute. She couldn't help but feel like crying. Qi Muyu knew that it was impossible to reason with Su-chin. He said helplessly, "What do you want?" 20 level 10 energy stones. Su-chin said bluntly, "Why don't you just rob someone?" Qi Muxue was so angry that her nose was crooked. Even 1 level 10 energy stone was priceless. Su-chin wanted 20 of them. He was too black-hearted. If you don't want to give it to me, then forget it. I'm not begging you, Su-chin said casually. If the other party didn't agree, he could just go to the Moonshine City to auction it off. Wait a minute, I agree. Qi Muyu suddenly said. Su-chin nodded slightly. He looked at Qi Muxue and said in an old-fashioned manner, "Look at how sensible your sister is. Then look at you? You're nothing. You've lived so long in vain." Qi Muxue swallowed her saliva and almost fainted from anger. After reprimanding Qi Muxue, Su-chin turned to Qi Muyu and said faintly, "Since you've agreed, hand over the energy stones." Chapter 8:12. I don't have it on me, but you can go to our Su family to ask for it, or I'll give it to you the next time we meet, Qi Muyu said. The reason why he agreed so readily was that he thought that Su-chin would never dare to go to the Qi family, so there was no need to pay the energy stones. Su-chin narrowed his eyes, pondered for a while, and said, "It's not impossible to go to your Qi family to get it, but after all, it's a long journey, and it's not easy to go there. The price must be doubled. 20 level 10 energy stones. Double that would be 40. Its value had exceeded 2 sacred tools. But Qi Muyu still did not hesitate and said happily, "Okay." He believed that Su-chin would not dare to go. Even if he asked for 100 stones, he would agree. Su-chin sneered in his heart. He could guess Qi Muyu's thoughts. However, Qi Muyu obviously underestimated his ability to advance. It would not take long for him to advance to the sacred rank. And when he went to the Qi family, he did not know how much his cultivation would improve. At that time, if the Qi family dared to renege on the debt, he did not mind overturning the entire Void Fortress. "Since you agree, then give us the weapons," Qi Muxue said impatiently. "Why are you in such a hurry? I will give it to you when we reach the Moonshine City." Su-chin snorted and did not give Qi Muxue a good face. Qi Muxue knew that she could not win against Su-chin, so she simply kept quiet. Su-chin was too lazy to pay attention to her. He sat in the driver's seat and closed his eyes to rest. The intelligent war chariot traveled through the night. At noon the next day, the swift bird suddenly warned, "Master, I feel that there is a dangerous aura approaching us." Danger? Su-chin slowly opened his eyes. He had experienced the swift bird's ability to predict danger. Since the swift bird said so, there must be danger. Satoshi, search around. Su-chin ordered. "Master, we've discovered 2 aliens rapidly approaching us," the intelligent war chariot immediately replied and transmitted the image to the central control screen. Su-chin narrowed his eyes and glanced around, only to see a titan giant with a mountain-like body flying over. On his shoulder stood a short, ugly alien with a long, pointy nose. Coming for me? Su-chin was a little confused. Logically speaking, he had just entered the elf continent and hadn't caused any trouble yet, so why was the other party coming straight for him? When Qi Muxue and the other 2 saw the appearance of the 2 foreign tribesmen, their faces changed. Su-chin sensed this and asked in a low voice, "Are these 2 people here for you?" "Yes." Qi Muyu nodded solemnly. "How did they know the 2 of you were here?" Su-chin asked curiously. The distance between the 2 of them wasn't short. In addition, Qi Muyu and the other 2 hadn't shown their faces yet, but the other party was able to accurately lock onto their position. This was a little strange. That's because the goblin has the ability to sense auras. As long as we're within a certain range, he can lock onto us, Chimuyu explained. The person with the long nose was a goblin. Suchin glanced at him and asked, "What's the feud between the two of you?" The other party came aggressively, so it was obvious that they weren't here to catch up. They were most likely here for revenge. That's because we snatched that swift bird from the hands of the Titan, Chimuyu said truthfully. The Chi family is really a bunch of bandits. After figuring out what was going on, Suchin sighed. Chapter 8:13. Upon hearing that, Chimuyu lowered his head in embarrassment. Chimushua snorted and said coldly, "I advise you to run away quickly. Otherwise, you'll suffer if that big guy catches up to you." Suchin looked at Chimushua as if he was looking at an idiot. He said sarcastically, "The Titan isn't here to chase me. At most, I'll just hand you two over." Upon hearing that, Chimushua and Chimushua's expressions changed. The Titan that was chasing after them was a level 10 cultivator. He was abnormally strong. Even if they had a sacred weapon, they wouldn't be a match for him. Now that they didn't have a sacred weapon, they might be killed in an instant. If the two of us are killed, you won't have an easy time either. After all, the swift bird is in your hands, Chimushua replied unhappily. So what? Do you think he's a match for me? Suchin curled his lips and said disdainfully. Chimushua immediately reacted. Suchin wasn't weak to begin with. In addition, he had many experts around him and a level 10 gold-devouring bug. The Titan really couldn't do anything to him. "Tell us, what do we have to do for you to help us?" Chimuyu asked softly. The fact that Suchin could say so much meant that he wanted to take the opportunity to blackmail them. Suchin extended 2 fingers and said calmly, 20 level 10 energy stones and I'll guarantee that you'll be fine." Damn it. Chimushua gritted her teeth in anger. Suchin was obviously asking for an exorbitant price. "It's fine if you don't agree. I won't force you." Suchin shrugged and put on an indifferent look. Chimuyu took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "We agree." His current situation was that he had been led by the nose by Suchin. Even though she knew it clearly, she couldn't do anything about it. In total, it's 60 level 10 energy stones. When I have time, I'll definitely go to the Chi family and ask for it, Suchin mumbled thoughtfully. "Do you dare to go?" Chimushua sneered in her heart. However, at this moment the intelligent war chariot reminded him, "Master, the aliens are less than 100 meters away from us." Dong dong. Accompanied by the sound of the earth trembling, a mountain-like figure could be seen from afar. Before the person arrived, a wave of murderous aura rushed over first, giving people a very heavy feeling of oppression. Just as Suchin was about to get out of the car, Shang Tsili said, "Suchin, leave this Titan to us?" She had never fought a level 10 Titan before, so she wanted to use this opportunity to train herself. Suchin thought for a moment and said with a smile, "Next time." Although the Titan giant was only at level 10, it must be very powerful to be able to make Chimushua and Zhongyang wary of it. Shang, Kylie, and the others might not be his match. In order to avoid any injuries, he decided to act personally. He's Suchin. Chimushua and Shang Tsili were stunned when they heard Suchin's name. Speaking of whose reputation was the most resounding in recent times, it was none other than Suchin. It could be described as thunderous. It was rumored that although Suchin was only a level 10 human cultivator, he was a level 10 full-time cultivator. Moreover, the strength of each profession was far beyond those of the same level. What was even more terrifying was that Suchin was not even 20 years old yet. His talent was so strong that no one could compare to him. It was no exaggeration to say that Suchin was definitely a rare super genius. However, the reason why Suchin was so famous was not only because of his talent, but also because of his brutality. Someone calculated that since Suchin made his debut, the number of powerhouses he had killed numbered in the thousands. This included not only humans but also many aliens, especially those from the 5 super races. It could be said that Suchin was a heinous, murderous demon king. Killing without a word, he acted without any scruples. Chapter 8:14. Sister, could he really be that Su-chan? Chi Mushua asked anxiously. Chi Muyu muttered with a solemn expression, let's hope not. Su-chan's identity gave them an extremely strong psychological pressure, and at the same time also made them endlessly scared. Outside the car, Su-chan waited quietly for the Titan Giant's arrival. Bang! With a loud thud, the Titan Giant's feet landed on the ground, causing the ground to rumble. Human, hand over the two ladies from the chief family, and I'll give you a quick death. The Titan Giant glanced coldly at Su-chan and said arrogantly, what if I don't hand them over? Su-chan curled his lips and said nonchalantly, this Titan was a little pretentious. He even dared to threaten him. He decided to teach the Titan a lesson, and let him know the price he had to pay for being arrogant. Human, don't be ungrateful. However, at this moment, the goblin also shouted, I'll make you regret living in this world later. Su-chan snorted. The gnome was only at level 8. Yet he dared to be so arrogant. He must have a death wish. Since you don't know what's good for you, go to hell. The Titan Giant opened his mouth, and a ferocious expression appeared on his face. Then he threw a punch at Su-chan. Whoosh whoosh. The punch was so powerful that it stirred up the wind in the surroundings. Like a small mountain, it pressed down on Su-chan from the sky. Why isn't he dodging? Chimuyu mumbled to himself. He saw clearly that Su-chan was standing on the same spot, and did not show any signs of dodging. However, the Titan Giant's punch was so powerful that if Su-chan did not dodge, wouldn't he be waiting for death? Shang Tsili and the rest looked serious. Even though they knew that Su-chan was invincible, they felt that Su-chan was being too arrogant. Just as the Titan Giant's fist was about to hit him, Su-chan's palm glowed with a faint golden light. Then he reached out and grabbed it. What is he trying to do? Chi Mushua was dumbfounded. Su-chan was obviously going to fight the Titan Giant head-on. Is he crazy? Just as Chi Mushua had that thought, the Titan Giant's punch had already landed on Su-chan's palm. However, the unbelievable thing was, the Titan Giant's powerful punch was strangely stopped when it came into contact with Su-chan's palm. How is that possible? The Titan Giant's eyes widened as he roared in shock. The weak human in front of him was actually able to withstand his punch with his own strength. It was too unbelievable. You're done, it's my turn. Su-chan curled his lips into a strange smile. Then he leaped up. When he was right in front of the Titan Giant's head, he threw a punch. The Titan Giant wanted to dodge, but it was too late. His nose was hit hard. There was a loud boom. The Titan Giant's nose was caved in. Moreover, under the effect of the huge impact, many of the bones on his face had cracked open, like a spider web. Bright red blood flowed out of them, making him look very miserable. Su-chan had beaten a level 10 Titan Giant beyond recognition with just one punch. It showed that he was invincible. Hiss! Chi Mushua and Shang Tsili gasped when they saw that. They could not help but shudder. Ah! I'm going to kill you. The Titan endured the pain and roared as he reached out to grab Su-chan. Chapter 8:15. Su-chan did not panic. As the Titan Giant's hand was about to grab him, he released his spirit. You're trying to stop me with your spirit. The Titan Giant waved his hand furiously, and tore the spirit that was attached to his body apart. However, he had lost sight of Su-chan after this delay. Where did he go? The Titan Giant turned his head and searched around. Suddenly, a cold howl came from above him. Stop looking. I'm here. Oh no. When the Titan Giant realized that something was wrong, his head was hit hard. The hit was so powerful that his head buzzed and his body was on the verge of collapsing. You're quite resilient. Su-chan snorted coldly and smashed down again with the original 5 poles mountain. There was a loud crash. The Titan Giant was hit hard again. Half of his head was smashed. He shook a few times and fell to the ground. It was as if a mountain had collapsed and the ground was shaking. Su-chan flew down from the sky. The integrated 5 extremes mountain in his hand was like a giant hammer that kept hitting the Titan Giant's head. Bang bang bang. Along with the loud crash, the Titan Giant's huge body spasmed. In the end, he straightened his body and lost all signs of life. His head had been smashed into a pile of minced meat. What a brutal method! What a powerful ability! Seeing this scene, Chimuyu swallowed his saliva fiercely. A level 10 Titan giant was killed without being able to put up any resistance. This kind of brutal scene brought a great impact to them. He's that Suchun. There's no doubt about it. Chimushua's teeth were chattering. Rumor had it that Suchun was an extremely powerful and ruthless guy. His performance was exactly the same as the young man in front of her. He was definitely Suchun. After confirming Suchun's true identity, Chimushua was instantly on tenterhooks. Cold sweat seeped out of her forehead. On the other side, after Suchun collected the fragments that had been dropped, his gaze fell on the gnome, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. "Senior, please spare my life." The gnome fell to his knees trembling. After witnessing Suchun's invincible might and cruel methods, he was scared out of his wits, and even the thought of running away was extinguished. Suchun ignored it, and released his mental power to crush it into dust. After collecting the fragments, he returned to the intelligent war chariot. "Satoshi, let's continue our journey," Suchun ordered, then turned to Hichimuyu and said, "I have solved the problem for you. Remember your promise. Don't worry. We will definitely give you the 60 level 10 energy stones. We will definitely not delay the payment," Chimushua said. Suchun felt a little strange. When did Chimushua become so sensible? However, he didn't think much about it. He sat back in the driver's seat and continued to rest. Chimushua breathed a long sigh of relief, as if relieved of a heavy burden. Behind them, the intelligent war chariot galloped all the way and spent 2 days to finally reach Moonshine City. Suchun returned the 2 sacred tools according to the previous agreement, and let Chimushua and Chimuyu go. Afterward, he put the intelligent war chariot into his storage bag, and entered Moonshine City with Wu Yazi and others. Because of the upcoming auction, Moonshine City could be said to be bustling at this time. Not only had a large number of elves gathered, but there was also a large number of foreign races. Moreover, the cultivation of these foreign races was not weak. Most of them were cultivators above level 9. Chapter 8:16. The elves dare to let so many powerhouses into Moonshine City. Aren't they afraid of trouble? Suchun narrowed his eyes and glanced around, muttering. The overall strength of the elves was not even as good as that of the human race, yet they dared to let so many powerhouses enter. This was something that the mysterious heavenly continent did not dare to do. Next to him, Wu Yazi smiled and said, "Suchun, in fact you don't know. In Moonshine City, even a level 10 cultivator dares not run amok." Why? Suchun was puzzled. Could it be that there was a super powerhouse of the elves in Moonshine City? Was it enough to deter all the foreign races? Wu Yazi explained, because Moonshine City is actually a high-grade sacred tool. The power it can exert is comparable to a divine tool. If anyone dares to run amok here, they will be killed. In fact, he said this to remind Suchun in disguise. After all, with Suchun's style of doing things, he might cause a big trouble here. Comparable to a divine tool. Suchun could not help but click his tongue. At this moment, he understood why the elves were so confident and dared to let so many powerhouses enter. It turned out that they had this trump card in hand. "Senior, if that's the case, aren't we just turtles in a dream?" Suchun took a breath and said with some worry. Being in a sacred tool, if the elves conspired against him, there was a risk of being strangled at any time. He had to be vigilant. Once such a large sacred tool is activated, the resources consumed must be massive. Unless it is a last resort, the elves will never use it easily, Wu Yazi said. Suchun nodded slightly, agreeing with Wu Yazi's view. The existence of Moonshine City should be more of a deterrent. If they really dared to kill powerhouses indiscriminately, they would have been destroyed by the joint forces of many forces long ago. For the rest of the time, Suchun and the others wandered around while inquiring about the time and location of the auction. Finally, they got the news that the auction would be held in 3 days. There were still 3 days to spare. Suchun simply called the others out of the chaos space. Let them experience the splendor of an outsider city. At noon the next day, Su Chun and the others were strolling around the Moonshine City when they suddenly found a man and two women quickly approaching them. Su Chun didn't care at first, but Wu Yazi reminded him. Su Chun, it's the two girls from the Qi family. Qi Mushiwa and Qi Muyu? Su Chun frowned and swept his gaze over. Sure enough, it was these two people. Furthermore, they were accompanied by a handsome young man. This person's footsteps were vigorous, and there was a fierce aura between his brows. Although he tried his best to suppress his aura, Su Chun could tell at a glance that this person was definitely a top expert. Could it be that he was here for revenge? He thought about how this person was suitable for Qi Muyu and Li Wuyo, and that this person was targeting him. Su Chun had some doubts. However, Qi Muyu and Li Wuyo had already sworn an oath. Weren't they afraid of being punished by the heavenly Tao? For a moment, Su Chun couldn't figure out the purpose of the other party, but he didn't think much about it and quietly waited for them to come over. Are you Su Chun? When Qi Muyu and the others came close, the man looked at Su Chun and asked in a loud voice. I am. What do you want? Su Chun faintly replied. My name is Qi Mufeng. I'm their second brother. The handsome man first introduced himself, and then said in a deep voice. I heard that you took away the primary life liquid and the sage-level puppet? Su Chen's expression was cold, and he said disdainfully, So what? What can I do if I don't? Chapter 8:17. You're really arrogant. Qi Mufeng snorted and said slowly. Rumor has it that you've killed a saint-level gold-devouring bug? You should be strong enough. I, Qi Mufeng, challenge you. Challenge me? Su Chun was stunned for a moment. Then he looked at Qi Mufeng again and smiled contemptuously. Are you worthy? These words fell on Qi Mufeng's ears like needles. Gulp. Qi Mufeng swallowed hard, his face turning red and white. Su Chun, even if you don't want to fight with my second brother, you don't have to humiliate him at all, right? Qi Muyu said angrily. Qi Mufeng didn't have any bad intentions when he challenged Su Chun. It was just an exchange of pointers between powerhouses. But Su Chun didn't give him any face and even took the opportunity to humiliate him. It was really hateful. I asked you to come? You're the one who made a mistake. How can you blame me? Su Chun snorted with a sullen face. Qi Muyu even put on a posture of denouncing him. Did he think he had a big face? Su Chun wouldn't tolerate him. Qi Muyu was so angry that the corners of his mouth twitched, and he almost fainted. Qi Mufeng took a deep breath and suppressed the anger in his heart. Su Chun, if you don't dare to accept my challenge, just say it. There's no need to mock me. Provoke me? Su Chun sneered in his heart. This kind of childish provocation was useless to him. But what he couldn't figure out was that Qi Muyu should be very clear about his strength. Then why did Qi Mufeng still dare to challenge him? What's your cultivation? Su Chun thought for a moment and asked. Level 1 saint level. Qi Mufeng said proudly. Sure enough. Su Chun muttered to himself. Since Qi Mufeng dared to challenge him, even after knowing that he could kill the sage-class gold-devouring beetles, he suspected that Qi Mufeng was a sage-class expert. Moreover, judging from Qi Mufeng's confident look, it was very likely that he was a powerhouse who far surpassed his peers. When Wu Yazi and the others learned that Qi Mufeng had screamed at a saint, their expressions changed. Indeed, there's always someone better than you out there. Shang Xili clicked her tongue and sighed. Qi Mufeng looked like he was in his 20s. For him to become a saint at such a young age, his cultivation talent was comparable to Su Chen's. Are you afraid now that you know that I'm a saint? Seeing that Su Chen did not speak for a long time, Qi Mufeng provoked. Su Chen pursed his lips and said indifferently, I'm indeed afraid. I'm afraid that I'll accidentally kill you. Since Qi Mufeng wanted to humiliate himself, he might as well fulfill his wish. Qi Mufeng was not angry but happy. He stared at Su Chen and said, So you accept my challenge? I can accept, but I'll have to add some stakes, Su Chen said with a smile. There was no practical meaning in teaching Qi Mufeng a lesson. He might as well take the opportunity to get some benefits. What do you want to bet? Qi Mufeng said indifferently. To him, as long as he could fight with Su Chen, even if he had to pay a little reward, it did not matter. Ordinary things don't catch my eye. Su Chen muttered thoughtfully, then said, 40 level 10 energy stones will do. Qi Muyu owed her 60 level 10 energy stones. If she won another 40, it would be just enough to make it a round number. There's no need to bet so big, right? Qi Mufeng clicked his tongue. 40 level 10 energy stones was an astronomical figure to him. If he lost, where would he get more? You don't even have the guts to do that, and you still dare to challenge me? Su Chen mocked. Qi Mufeng gritted his teeth. Just as he was about to reply, Qi Muyu interrupted. Second brother, let's not compete with him. Chapter 8:18. Qi Muyu had suffered a great loss at the hands of Su Chen. Su Chen had extorted a saint-level puppet, a bottle of primary life fluid, and 60 level 10 energy stones. Since Su Chen dared to make such a request, he must be confident in winning. Qi Mufeng might be a saint level, but his cultivation would be suppressed on the continent. He might not be Su Chen's match. Qi Muyu did not want to see Qi Mufeng suffer a loss, so he tried his best to stop him. Hearing this, Qi Mufeng hesitated. It was rare to meet someone as strong as Su Chen. To be honest, he did not want to miss this opportunity to spar. However, 40 level 10 energy stones were also a problem for him. After thinking for a while, he said, I don't have any level 10 energy stones, but I can use a piece of information as a replacement. Information? What information could replace 40 level 10 energy stones? Tell me about it, Su Chen said calmly. There was no harm in listening. If it was not valuable, he could reject it. He would not lose anything. Qi Mufeng did not beat around the bush. He said directly, I know the whereabouts of a saint-level puppet. It's similar to the one you have. A saint-level puppet? It should be from the machine race. If it was a complete machine race puppet, it would be worth 40 level 10 energy stones. The key was only a piece of information. He did not know if the puppet was complete. Thus, its value would be greatly reduced. Su Chen thought for a while and shook his head. Your information is too worthless. It's not worth my time. I have another piece of information. Qi Mufeng gritted his teeth and seemed to be struggling. Su Chen signaled Qi Mufeng to continue. In a secret realm of the elves, there is a spring of life. I can tell you the exact location, Qi Mufeng said softly. Spring of life? Su Chen frowned and muttered. This was the first time he had heard of the spring of life, so he didn't know what it was. However, he could also imagine that something linked to life wouldn't be too bad. On the side, Wu Yazi's expression changed. He whispered to Su Chen. Su Chen agreed. Su Chen was slightly surprised and asked, Senior, you know about the spring of life? Wu Yazi explained. The effect of the spring of life is the same as the primary life liquid. Moreover, it has the additional effect of accelerating the growth of spiritual plants. As Su Chen took a deep breath and almost shouted out in excitement. Accelerating the growth of spirit plants was too important to him. There were many demon plants and holy items in the plant dimension, but they were too old. Even with the time accelerator, he couldn't harvest them in a short period of time. It could be said that he urgently needed something that could accelerate the growth of spirit plants. Su Chen coughed softly and said without batting an eyelid, These two pieces of information added together are somewhat valuable. Let's make it worth 20 level 10 energy stones. What a big appetite. Wu Yazi clicked his tongue. He knew that Su Chen had Qi Mufeng in his grasp and was determined to make Qi Mufeng sell everything he had. I don't have 20 level 10 energy stones. Qi Mufeng laughed bitterly. It's okay. I'll owe you for now. Anyway, your sister still owes me 60 energy stones. I'll collect them when I have time, Su Chen said casually. Qi Mufeng stared blankly at Su Chen, speechless for a moment. From Su Chen's tone, it was as if he had him in his grasp. However, he was still a saint-level expert. How could he be looked down on so much? Do you agree or not? Su Chen was a bit impatient. He could sense that Qi Mufeng was a martial arts fanatic and wouldn't miss the opportunity to spar with him. Chapter 819. I agree. Qi Mufeng gritted his teeth and said. Su Chen was overjoyed and could not wait to say, then let's go out of the city and exchange pointers. Private fights were not allowed in Moonshine City, especially between high-level cultivators. He did not want to break the rules here. Wait a minute, I have 2 requests. Qi Mufeng interrupted. 2 more requests? Su Chen was slightly displeased, but he still said patiently, tell me. Qi Mufeng cleared his throat and said solemnly, first, if I win, you don't have to give me energy stones. Just give me back the saint-level puppet and the life original fluid. Second, if you can beat me, I will tell you the location of the 2 secret realms, but I have to go with you. Okay. Su Chen did not hesitate at all. It was absolutely impossible for Qi Mufeng to defeat him, so these things would still belong to him. As for going to the secret realms together, it would also be beneficial for him. At least, it could prove that these 2 secret realms really existed. Seeing Su Chen's reply so quickly, Qi Miyu could not help but begin to worry. A person's reputation was like a tree's shadow. It was rumored that all the saint-level experts of the human race had joined forces to suppress Su Chen, but they could not do anything to Su Chen. It could be seen how terrible Su Chen was in the end. She could even imagine that Su Chen was simply an invincible existence in the human race. If she wanted to deal with Su Chen, perhaps she could only do it in the void. And Qi Mufeng insisted on exchanging pointers with Su Chen. It was very likely that he had fallen into Su Chen's scheme. But things had come to this point, and she was powerless to stop it. She could only sigh faintly. Later, Su Chen's group quickly left Moonshine City. It took them an hour to find a secluded place to stop. Because it was a duel between level 10 experts, the damage caused was unimaginable. The cultivation of Tan Lin and the others was too weak. Su Chen was worried that they would be affected, so he put them into the chaos space. Su Chen, swords have no eyes. Please forgive me if I hurt you. Before making a move, Qi Mufeng reminded him. Su Chen could feel that these words were not arrogant, but really meant well. However, even if he knew this, he was still unwilling to listen. Because in the continent, no one could defeat him. Qi Mufeng obviously hadn't realized this, so he decided to teach Qi Mufeng a lesson. Once I make a move, it's easy for me to lose control. If you feel that you can't handle it, you must admit defeat immediately. Don't try to be brave or else you might lose your life, Su Chen said seriously. How arrogant. Qi Mufeng clicked his tongue and stopped arguing with Su Chen. While the atmosphere on the field was tense, Wu Yazi and the others gathered together and began to block the way. I bet that Su Chen can defeat Qi Mufeng in less than 2 minutes, Yuqi Jingyang said confidently. Qi Mufeng is a sage after all. I bet that he can last for 3 minutes, Shang Xili said with some reservations. I think 2 minutes, Li Kuiyang agreed. 2 minutes and 20 seconds, Nan Lichuan said firmly. After the 4 of them finished speaking, they all looked at Wu Yazi. You guys are underestimating Su Chen. I bet that Su Chen can defeat Qi Mufeng in less than a minute, Wu Yazi said confidently. Since they didn't try to cover up their conversation, Qi Mufeng and the other 2 could clearly hear what they were saying. These guys are too despicable. Qi Muxue was furious and cursed in her heart. Defeating a saint-level powerhouse in less than a minute? The thoughts of Wu Yazi and the others were simply deranged. Chapter 820. Qi Mufeng's face was gloomy, and his expression was ugly to the extreme. Being looked down upon in front of him made him feel extremely humiliated. These guys are too much. Su Chen sighed and turned to Qi Mufeng saying, They're just telling the truth, don't mind them. Qi Mufeng's expression froze. Telling the truth? Don't mind? How could he have the nerve to say that? Qi Mufeng felt like he had been dealt a critical blow and could not recover for a long time. All right, let's hurry up, Su Chen reminded. Qi Mufeng took a deep breath and forced himself to be alert. Then let's begin. If he continued to talk to Su Chen, he would be angered to death. As soon as he finished speaking, he charged fiercely at Su Chen, vowing to defeat Su Chen in the shortest time possible to prove himself. Qi Mufeng was a sage. and his reputation was not undeserved. He rushed in front of Su Chun, raised his hand, and smashed down with a punch. However, there was a dazzling starlight on his fist, and it carried with it the power to cut through space. Still interesting, Su Chun commented, and then released his mind power. Sizzle, in a violent friction sound. The mind power was torn apart by the dazzling starlight, and it only served to block it for a very short period of time. For Su Chun, this short buffer was enough. Just as Qi Mufeng's punch was about to hit him, a faint golden light appeared on his palm, and then he grabbed forward. There was a muffled bang. Qi Mufeng's fist was firmly caught, and he could not move. Your defense. Before Qi Mufeng could say anything, he suddenly felt an extremely cold chill coming towards him. Even the dazzling starlight on his fist dimmed under the attack of the chill. Oh no. Qi Mufeng was shocked. Su Chen's ice spells were too violent. Once he was frozen, he would definitely lose. Let's fight. Qi Mufeng clenched his teeth, and the starlight on his fist suddenly exploded. After shattering the ice spell that was sweeping towards him, he withdrew his fist and hurriedly retreated. Even second brother is no match for him? Qi Mushue's face turned dark when she saw that Qi Mufeng was at a disadvantage the moment they exchanged blows. Qi Muyu secretly shook his head. He already knew that Qi Mufeng was no match for Su Chun, but he never thought that the gap between them would be so big. The starlight cutting technique that Qi Mufeng used was a special ability that he had awakened in the Void Battleground. It could be considered one of his trump cards. But in front of Su Chun, it couldn't even cause a ripple. Moreover, looking at Su Chen's calm expression, he did not use any strength at all. You're stronger than I thought. Qi Mufeng kept a distance from Su Chen and said solemnly. If he had not reacted fast enough, he might have been defeated. At this moment, he still had some lingering fear. Compared to that sage-level gold-devouring bug, you're still lacking. You've disappointed me. Su Chen glanced at Qi Mufeng and shook his head with a sigh. At first, he thought that since Qi Mufeng dared to take the initiative to challenge him, his strength should be at least on par with the sage-level gold-devouring bug. But he did not expect that Qi Mufeng would be so weak. At most, he was only a little stronger than Feng Huxiang. If that's all you've got, you'll be humiliating yourself if you continue to fight. It's best if you surrender, Su Chen said in a deep voice. Hearing that, Qi Mufeng's face turned pale. He shouted angrily, Su Chen, I still have my strongest killer move. If you can block it, I don't mind surrendering. Go ahead. Su Chen curled his lips and said calmly. Chapter 821. Su Chen, I have to remind you that this move of mine is extremely powerful. Once I use it, there's no way I can stop it. You have to be mentally prepared. Qi Mufeng said seriously. Got it. Su Chen nodded, still looking nonchalant. Seeing that, Qi Mufeng stopped nagging and a blue longsword appeared in his hand. He raised his hand and the blue longsword flew into the air. It trembled slightly and became 10 feet long. Suddenly, an extremely sharp sword essence spread out. At the same time, there seemed to be a resonance in the void. There was a thunderous roar, and tens of thousands of lightning bolts appeared in the void. The lightning flashed and the deafening roar was endless. It looks pretty awesome. Just as Su Chen was marveling at it, he saw tens of thousands of lightning bolts surging into the giant blue sword. In the next moment, the giant blue sword changed and strangely turned into a giant dragon with flashing lightning bolts. Accompanied by a dragon's roar, the entire void trembled. Swimming dragon sword art. 10,000 lightning sword transformation technique. Just as the blue dragon appeared, Qi Mufeng chanted and leaped into the air. Soon he became one with the blue dragon. In an instant, a violent pressure swept out in all directions. Wherever it passed, even the vegetation on the ground seemed to tremble. What a terrifying divine power. Wu Yazi and the rest were shocked. When the pressure came, they felt a chill run down their spines. Second brother has mastered the 10,000 lightning sword transformation technique. Qi Muxue and Qi Muyu were extremely excited. The swimming dragon sword art was one of the most powerful techniques in the Qi family, and the 10,000 lightning sword transformation technique was the hardest divine power to master. There were many geniuses in the Qi family, but only their Laozu could master this divine power. They didn't expect Qi Mufeng to master it too. Second brother will win for sure. Qi Muxue shouted excitedly. The power of the 10,000 Thunder Transformation sword technique was unparalleled. Once it was used, it was enough to deal a fatal blow to a cultivator of a higher level. In her opinion, there was no way Su Chen could resist it. Sword intent manifestation. Body and sword as one. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered to himself. Qi Mufeng's move was a little similar to man and sword as one, but it was much more exquisite than that. It had been a long time since Su Chen had encountered such a powerful killing move. His fighting spirit immediately soared. Su Chen, it's not too late to surrender. Qi Mufeng's authoritative voice suddenly sounded from the blue dragon. Bring it on. Su Chen was not afraid. Qi Mufeng had killer moves, but so did he. He wanted to see whether Qi Mufeng's 1,000 Thunder Transformation swordsmanship or his 1,000 Light 10 Shadows fighting skill was more powerful. You're overestimating yourself. Seeing that Su Chen still dared to boast shamelessly, Qi Muxue snorted coldly. Take this. Qi Mufeng roared and suddenly launched an attack. He saw the blue dragon meandering in the air, pressing down on Su Chen with the force of thousands of caddies. Su Chen also used the 1,000 Light 10 Shadows fighting skill at this time. 1 turned into 2, 2 turned into 4. In the blink of an eye, shadows that looked exactly like him appeared in the surroundings. What kind of supernatural power is this? Qi Muyu and Qi Muxue were stunned. Shang Xili and the others were also inexplicably shocked. Among the people present, only Wu Yazi and Li Kuiyang had seen Su Chen use the 1,000 Light 10 Shadows fighting skill, so they were a little calmer. Qi Mufeng, you're bound to lose. Wu Yazi sighed with emotion. He had personally experienced the power of the 10,000 Lights 10 Shadows fighting technique. At that time, when Su Chen was at level 9, he used this move to deal with him. As a pseudo-saint, it was difficult for him to resist. Su Chen was now at level 10, and the power of this move was even more violent. How could Qi Mufeng resist it? Chapter 822. The blue dragon rushed down, and was immediately surrounded by the 11 Su Chens. 5 Su Chens joined forces to release their spiritual power and suppress the blue dragon. All kinds of magic arts fell from the sky. One of the shadows held the primordial 5 poles mountain and smashed it heavily on the blue dragon's body. There was a loud bang. The blue dragon's huge body was smashed to the ground, creating a deep pit. Su Chen's real body held the chaos sky-splitting sword. He hesitated for a moment and didn't slash down in the end. Qi Mufeng's innumerable thunder sword art might be stronger than the saint-level gold-devouring beetles in terms of attack power, but its defensive power was far inferior. Once the chaos sky-splitting sword slashed down, even the saint-level gold-devouring beetles couldn't resist it, let alone Qi Mufeng. He had a good impression of Qi Mufeng and didn't hold a deep grudge against him. Naturally, he wouldn't kill him. Qi Mufeng was crushed under his feet. The outcome of the battle was clear. Su Chen put away the primordial 5 poles mountain and the chaos sky-splitting sword, and the 10 shadows also disappeared. Seeing that Su Chen didn't continue to attack, Qi Muyu and Nan Linchuan heaved a long sigh of relief. But their eyes were full of awe when they looked at Su Chen. It was not until this moment that they really saw Su Chen's strength. They even realized that even in the void, ordinary first-stage saint-level masters were no match for Su Chen. It turns out that Su Chen is so powerful. Nan Linchuan couldn't help but exclaim. When he fought with Su Chen before, he was crushed by Su Chen. He thought that Su Chen was relying on the advantage of being a full-time cultivator, so he was somewhat unconvinced. After seeing Su Chen's strength, he realized that Su Chen didn't use his full strength at all. They were just fooling around. Brother Qi, are you okay? Su Chen took a breath and shouted at the deep pit. I'm fine. After being ravaged by Su Chen, Qi Mufeng had already returned to his original form and slowly climbed out of the deep pit. At this moment, Qi Mufeng was dressed in rags and was in a sorry state. However, his aura was still stable, which meant that he hadn't suffered much damage. Su-Chun, you win. Qi Mufeng's expression was desolate. He sighed and said, I'll accept my loss. I'll tell you where the 2 secret realms are. As for the 20 grade 10 energy stones, I'll think of a way to give them to you as soon as possible. Su-Chun nodded slightly. Although he looked calm on the surface, his heart was bursting with joy. In this battle, not only had he obtained information about 2 secret realms, but he had also obtained another 20 level 10 energy stones. It could be said that he had profited greatly. Su-Chun, before I tell you the location of the 2 secret realms, I have a presumptuous request. Qi Mufeng coughed lightly and said embarrassedly, Brother Qi, feel free to speak your mind. Su-Chun wasn't bothered by it. Brother Su's strength is something I've never seen before. Brother Su and I got to know each other after a fight. I'd like to become sworn brothers with Brother Su. Qi Mufeng said seriously with a solemn expression. Is second brother crazy? Qi Mushua's mouth was wide open. She was stunned. She didn't like Su-Chun at all. If Su-Chun really agreed, how would they get along in the future? Qi Muyu also had a face full of surprise, but after recovering, he was ecstatic in his heart. Su-Chun's talent and strength were visible to the naked eye. It was almost certain that he would advance to the sacred stage. Once Su-Chun advanced to the sacred stage, his strength would definitely increase by leaps and bounds. He would even have a place in the void. Being on good terms with such a talented person was definitely beneficial to the Qi family. From the bottom of his heart, he was very supportive of Qi Mufeng and Su-Chun becoming sworn brothers. He also hoped that Su-Chun would agree. Chapter 823. Become brothers with different surnames? Su-Chun was caught off guard by Qi Mufeng's sudden words. Strictly speaking, he had a good impression of Qi Mufeng. Although Qi Mufeng came from a big family and was a sage powerhouse, he did not have the slightest bit of hostility in him. That was rather commendable, and it suited Su-Chun's temperament. Logically speaking, becoming brothers with Qi Mufeng was not a bad choice. However, Su-Chun had his own considerations. Qi Muyu still owed him 60 level 10 energy stones, which was not a small sum. Once he became brothers with Qi Mufeng, would he still have the face to ask for them? Su-Chun hesitated as he thought of that. Qi Mufeng thought that Su-Chun was unwilling, so he quickly said, Su-Chun and Qi Mufeng have always been open and above board. The reason why I made this request is not because I have any ulterior motives toward you. I'm completely convinced by your abilities. Qi Mushua seemed to have noticed something, so she added, Su-Chun, becoming brothers with my second brother is beneficial to both of us. With your talent, you'll definitely become a super powerhouse in the future. You'll be of great help to my second brother. You should know a thing or two about the dangers in the void. It's definitely not feasible to fight alone. However, if you become brothers with my second brother, the Qi family can legitimately help you with all our might. Also, as long as you agree, the Qi family's cultivation resources, ruins, and secret realms can all be shared with you. In order to rope Su-Chun in, Qi Muyu had put in a lot of effort. Sister, how could you do that? Qi Mushua was completely dumbfounded. Not only did Qi Muyu not dissuade her, but he also tried his best to rope Su-Chun in, which was beyond her expectations. At the same time, it made her very angry. She even suspected that Qi Muyu had taken a fancy to Su-Chun. Since your Qi family is so sincere, I will agree, Su-Chun said straightforwardly. Just as Qi Muyu had said, it was indeed better to have the help of a powerful force than to fight alone. Moreover, he could also take the opportunity to obtain some information about the mystic realm. This was also something that he valued. Great! Qi Mufeng was indescribably excited. Wu Yazi and the others were overjoyed. Su-Chun and the Qi family were on good terms, which was what they wanted to see. With the support of the Qi family, any saint-level powerhouse who wanted to find trouble with Su-Chun in the future would have to think twice. Su-Chun, since you've become brothers with my second brother, shouldn't you return the things that you stole from us? Qi Mushua shamelessly walked up and said naturally. The things she was talking about were the saint-level puppet and the life primary fluid. I'm friends with your second brother. What does that have to do with you? Don't be shameless. Get lost. Just looking at you disgusts me. Suchin did not indulge her at all, and scolded her with a cold face. He had great use for these two things. Of course he would not give them to her. Moreover, who was Chi Muxue? How dare she ask for them? If it was not for Chi Mufeng, Suchin would have slapped her. Chi Muxue opened her mouth wide, and the smile on her face froze. Chi Muyu more or less understood Suchen's temper. He said with a smile, Suchin, my sister is joking with you. Don't take it seriously. Chi Mufeng also smiled awkwardly. Muxue doesn't know any better. Don't lower yourself to her level. After venting his anger, Suchin felt much better. He said to Chi Muxue, for the sake of your second brother and sister, I won't bicker with you. Next time, be careful and don't ask for things from others. Hearing that, Chi Muxue was stunned and almost choked to death. Chapter 8:24. After that, there was a relatively simple ceremony. Although it was just a ceremony, it was also bound by the will of the heavens. If one party had evil thoughts, they would definitely be punished by the heavens. After the ceremony, Suchin and Chi Mufeng became sworn brothers, and the relationship between them was undoubtedly much closer. Today is also a joyous day. Let's celebrate here today. Suchin said as he opened the chaos space again. After calling out all the others, he introduced them and then arranged for Yang Hao and the others to prepare the food. 2 hours later, there was a lot of delicious food in front of everyone, mostly roasted meat and fruits. Although Chi Mufeng and the others were disciples of big families, it was the first time they had seen such a sumptuous meal. Suchin, your fruits are too fresh, aren't they? It's as if they were just picked. Chi Mufeng chewed an apple and clicked his tongue in wonder. Brother Chi, if you like, I'll give you a few trees so that you can eat fresh fruits in the future. Suchin said with a smile. Since he had become sworn brothers with Chi Mufeng, it was only right to give him a few fruit trees. Anyway, there were many fruit tree seeds in the storage bag. Then I won't be polite. Chi Mufeng did not refuse. He just regarded Suchin's fruit trees as ordinary fruit trees and did not know how magical they were. Later, everyone talked as they ate and gradually became familiar with each other. After eating and drinking to their heart's content, Suchin and Chi Mufeng started to talk business. Brother Chi, how did you know about the spirit spring of life in the elf continent? Suchin asked. The value of the spirit spring of life was self-evident. Once it was known by outsiders, it would definitely cause a mad scramble. How could Chi Mufeng find it? He now somewhat doubted the authenticity of this news. I bought this news from the Hidden Spirit Sect at a high price. Chi Mufeng said directly. Hidden Spirit Sect? Suchin frowned. Where did the Hidden Spirit Sect find out? Since they knew this secret, why didn't they look for it themselves? As if seeing Suchin's doubts, Chi Mufeng explained. The Hidden Spirit Sect is located in the void, and their strength is not below our Chi family. They are actually an organization that sells secrets, and the information they sell is all true and reliable, so their credibility is guaranteed. There was such an organization? Suchin couldn't help but click his tongue. He didn't doubt Chi Mufeng's words because if the Hidden Spirit Sect was really cheating, their reputation would have been tarnished, and no one would trade with them. Moreover, there were many great forces in the void. If they had cheated, they would have been annihilated long ago. What Suchin found strange was, where did the Hidden Spirit Sect's news come from? Why don't you look for it yourself? With regards to this, Chi Mufeng wasn't sure. He only said that the Hidden Spirit Sect's style of doing things had always been like this. Suchin didn't think too much about it. He just needed to confirm the authenticity of the spiritual spring of life. Brother Chi, when the auction in Moonshine City is over, let's go look for it together. Suchin made a decision. Chi Mufeng reminded him, Suchin, if we want to enter that secret realm, we still need to make some preparations. Suchin nodded and listened attentively to Chi Mufeng. According to the news I got, there is likely to be an evil spirit hidden in the secret realm, so we must buy some evil defense treasures. Chi Mufeng said. Evil spirit? Suchin raised his eyebrows slightly. He had seen evil spirit things several times. The evil fruit tree and the abyss black poria belonged to the category of evil spirits. Because of his ancient god-demon body, evil spirits could not cause any harm to him. Chapter 825. But Qi Mufeng couldn't. Even if he was a saint level, he might not be able to resist the invasion of the evil aura. He really needed a defensive treasure. However, there were very few treasures that could defend against the evil aura. Where could he get one? Is there such a treasure in Moonshine City? Suchin probed. Qi Mufeng nodded and said, there is a clear sky mirror in this Moonshine City auction. It is a treasure that specializes in restraining evil spirits. Okay, let's bid for it, Suchin said. With the clear sky mirror in hand, Qi Mufeng had a defensive means. He had greater confidence in the trip to the secret realm. Later, the two talked about other things. 3 days later, on the day of the Moonshine City auction, Suchin and the others re-entered Moonshine City. Because there were many people participating in the auction, and most of them were powerful foreign races, Su was worried that there would be trouble, so he put Qin Feng and the others into the chaos space. Only Wu Yazi and the other powerhouses above level 10 were left outside. After buying a box ticket, Suchin and the others smoothly entered the auction. The venue of the Moonshine City auction was the size of a football field, and the number of people participating was in the tens of thousands. Suchin had participated in many auctions, but it was the first time he had encountered one of this scale. Brother Qi, besides the machinery heart, are there any other treasures in this auction? Suchin asked. To be able to attract so many powerhouses, a machinery heart was obviously not that attractive. He wondered if there were other treasures. Besides the machinery heart, there is also a saint-level puppet and a flying sacred tool. Qi Mufeng said directly. Suchin's expression changed and he asked anxiously, what kind of saint-level puppet? He didn't care about ordinary saint-level puppets, but if it was from the machinery race, he had to get his hands on it. It seems to be similar to the one in your hand, Qi Mufeng said with uncertainty. Then there is a very high possibility. Suchin narrowed his eyes and muttered. As long as it was confirmed that it belonged to the mechanical race, no matter how many energy stones he had to spend, it would be worth it. Moreover, he also believed that with his wealth, no one could compete with him. The auction is about to begin. Right at this moment, Wu Yazi reminded. Suchin gathered his thoughts and looked at the stage in the center of the venue. At this moment, a beautiful female elf slowly walked onto the stage. At first, Suchin did not pay much attention to it. This was because the host of the auction was usually a beautiful woman, so it wasn't strange at all. However, after seeing the face of the female elf, Suchin's eyelids twitched, and he exclaimed, Yueling! That day on Chongsu Island, he had made a deal with Moon Spirit, so he still had some impression of Moon Spirit. Therefore, he recognized her at a glance. But wasn't Moon Spirit the princess of the elves? How did he become the host of an auction? Suchin, you know her? Qi Mufeng exclaimed softly. Suchin nodded slightly. She is the princess of the elves. What? Qi Mufeng and the others were shocked. The princess of the elves was actually the host of an auction? Wasn't this too unbelievable? Suchin also felt that it was a little strange, and he also keenly sensed that Moon Spirit's expression was very unnatural. Although there was a smile on Moon Spirit's face, it looked very forced. Could it be that something had happened? Suchin secretly guessed and planned to wait until the auction ended before going to ask. You're tuning in to the Echoes of the Heart YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.